Translating novice. Numerous colors converge and stab into Yuan Li. Chiarak. Yuan Li's arms momentarily transform into blood-colored ghost hands. The blood-colored ghost hands grab and try to block my colorless glass sword. Quajuduk. It's over. Kagagugugu. Unable to withstand my power, Yuan Li falls and crashes onto the ground of serving command palace. Spiderweb-like cracks spread out below him. Die. I plunge down on him, mobilizing all the power of the colorless glass sword and the formless sword. Quaying. Just then, when his death seems imminent. Kugug. This is. Cultivation begins to return. The spiritual power at the chi building stage in my entire body returns to the core formation level. The numerous core formation cultivators trapped around also begin to regain their cultivation. And that means the restraint of serving command palace. Kuguguguk. Yuan Li, once again exuding the power of a nascent soul old monster, pushes away my sword with the hand that grabbed the colorless glass sword. Why, it's not time yet. I grit my teeth and firmly press down on the sword with all my might. It doesn't make sense. Why? Kwang. And then, eventually, the colorless glass sword is flung away. Yuan Li stands up. Kagagugu. Huh? He gasps for breath. I acknowledge it. After hundreds of years, I have experienced a true life-and-death battle. That was really a close call. He turns his head to one side. There Byok Chingyi, the head of the Byok clan, is gasping for breath, apparently having completed some action. Using a secret technique found in the ruins of the Zhou clan, I barely managed to release the restraint earlier. Yes, your contribution is significant. However, the sin committed by your clan's child is also great. Please have mercy. Didok. With a flick of Yuan Li's finger. Byok Chingyi and the other traitors all collapse on their spots, screaming. Qag. Alorg. Uag. Except for the one fool from the Byok clan, to think that all I have are those who just stare blankly, even when their master is in danger. All of them are useless. Even the fool from the Byok clan only cleaned up his own mess, so it's all the same. Jiaving. I frown at the familiar energy I feel from the traitor's upper dantions. It's the energy of the 5 elements blood curse banner. He implanted it 200 years ago, so they couldn't resist. Didok. Yuan Li flicks his finger again, and the screams subside. Enough. Anyway, as I said before, we'll deal with the reward distribution later. Now there's something more important. He looks at me. The ones who pushed me to this point, let's start by dealing with these guys. I look back at him and smirk. Funny, how about you check your own condition first? While Yuan Li has indeed recovered his nascent soul cultivation, his momentum is not the same as before. He exhausted quite a bit of energy fighting me. The situation is quite different from earlier, when he fully demonstrated the power of a mid-stage nascent soul cultivator. His defensive Dharma treasure was destroyed in the heavenly tribulation. His summons, the bizarre ghost beast and the blood cloud ghost kings, fell in serving command palace. What remains are his natal Dharma treasures, the 17 bone daggers, the blood-colored leaf fan, the blood-colored spear, and the crystal skull staff. His strength is steadily decreasing. Kuguguguk. Additionally, the cultivators who were restricted to chi building are now struggling to free themselves from the black iron chains of the Jinlu clan's Dharma treasure. Although the traitors make up a significant force, in terms of numbers alone, we are far superior. Moreover, it's evident that Yuan Li hasn't yet overcome the aftereffects of the curse and the heavenly lightning. Do you really think you can defeat us? To my menacing question, Yuan Li pauses, then begins to laugh. Hoo-hoo, a splendid warrior, unyielding no matter how many times beaten. Moreover, someone who faced heavenly tribulations upon reaching core formation and could exhibit core formation stage power within serving command palace's restraint. He reaches out his hand towards me. Will you not become my blood slave? Though I say blood slave, I'll treat you like a disciple. I silently take my stance in response. Task foolish. He spreads his arms. I grip my sword and gather energy. Flash. No need for words. I charge and thrust the formless sword straight at him. Suddenly, in his hand is the blood-colored leaf fan. Cry summoning wind blood fan. Quaya. A bloody wind blows, pushing me back. As soon as I touch the blood wind, I feel the blood in my entire body boiling. Quaying. Eventually, unable to withstand it, I am pushed back and blown away. Whether he does this or that, he has regained the power of a nascent soul. But I am not particularly discouraged. I can win. His power is evidently weaker than when I first faced him. If it's only this much, I can surely take him down. Everyone, this old monster is definitely weaker than before. If we join forces, we can surely win. Kwajing Kwajingjing. Jingmun Yungjin and numerous core formation cultivators, whose powers have returned, begin to rise from their spots. Oward Boni. Jinlu Yongchen, how dare you? Ah no. The tide begins to turn. Byokchung-gi released serving Command Palace's restraint to save Yuanli, but it inadvertently allowed our allied forces to regain their strength. I take out the communication device to contact Songjin and Seo Ran, who are waiting. It's almost over, you can come now. Weighing. Before the battle, a ghost that Songjin attached to me when he visited serving Command Palace a few years ago woke up inside my pocket and peeked out. The tiny ghost looks around the situation, likely transmitting the battlefield to the two. I've contacted them, now all that's left is just to press him and wait. Just then, gather power, summoning wind blood fan. Ji-yeving. Yuan Li floats his blood-colored leaf fan in the air. His natal Dharma treasure rises into the air, beginning to gather energy. And then, I know, Oriboni, let me go for a moment, please. Jinlu Yongchen and a few of the traders begin to struggle. Yuan Li looks down at them and speaks. Contrary to the initial proposal, you failed to perfectly suppress them. Thus, there's no need to keep my promise to spare them, correct? Jinlu Yongchen and some traders scream as if crying out. Lord Bloodwood, please show mercy. Please do not massacre the Qingmun clan. Lord Bloodwood, we did our best, please spare these tribes. Wasn't that the original agreement? If you had suppressed them properly beforehand, this wouldn't be necessary. Now it's too late. And then, swoosh, something crimson flies from the direction of the Black Castle. Shiver, shiver. My rational mind screams to rush at Yuan Li and cut off his head. But my intuition, as a martial artist, holds me back. I will die. If I step forward now, I will meet a miserable death. Quang. What flew from the Black Castle lands, right next to Yuan Li. It is a beautiful person, confusing in gender, wearing the same clothes as Yuan Li. This person, whether male or female, has ebony black hair and a corpse-pale, smooth skin. Seeing that figure, I shudder in recognition. That's in the last moments of my previous life. Yuan Li at that time was neither white-haired nor had a small stature and wrinkled skin like the current Yuan Li. Certainly, Yuan Li back then had that body. Regardless, you all fought well. To think you made me bring out my hidden blood body. Kagagugu. The young Yuan Li, referred to as the blood body, intensifies his aura. Insane. This person, too, possesses the power of a completed early nascent soul stage. And Wu Wuang, Yuan Li's original body. From the Beihui point of his main body, a tiny baby emerges. It's the grotesque baby I saw before, covered in numerous hands, eyes, and mouths. The original body's nascent soul. The baby, laughing eerily, enters into the Beihui point of Yuan Li's blood body next to him. And then, Yuan Li's blood body is enveloped in the same pitch-black darkness as Yuan Li's original body. A translucent mask, akin to dark fog, covers his face. Yuan Li finally reverts to the same form I had seen in my past life. Who good? Quaduk. The newly formed body grabs the head of its previous old body. And then, Chirurururuk. He absorbs his old body. His old body turns into a mist of blood and is absorbed into his hand. Kagagugu. His cultivation, which was at the completed early nascent soul stage, surges to the completed mid-nascent soul stage again. Surprised by my blood body, after the heavenly being seniors ascended, I created this new body to rule this world for another 1,000 years. Not only did I extend its life with pure long-source true power for 200 years, I also mastered my core methods, the blood demon suppressing sea light and blood chain binding forest to their extremes. Furthermore, he smiles, his mouth almost tearing apart, reaching out to the Dharma treasure floating in the air. For 200 years, I even mastered the method stolen from the Sea Dragon King. See clearly the power drawn by the newly refined Dharma treasure and the Sea Dragon King's method over these 200 years. Kagagugu. Centered on Yuan Li, a whirlwind of blood begins to form. He grabs the blood-colored leaf fan he has been gathering power with and swings it fiercely. Quagwagwagwag. Yuan Li's proclamation echoes throughout Serving Command Palace. Behold the power of summoning wind, true blood transformation. Kagagugu. A bloody dragon rises, covering the first floor of Serving Command Palace. I clench my teeth, cutting through the bloody wind with my formless sword, holding my ground. But others can't hold out as easily, as many core formation cultivators are swept away by the wind. Quagwagwagwa. A bloody windstorm hits the entire first floor of Serving Command Palace. Yuan Li's attack sweeps the area with a bloody dragon. I continue to clench my teeth and withstand the strike, and after some time passes. Woo-wo. When the wind subsides, what remains in the hall are only a few exceptionally strong cultivators among the clan heads or core formation elders. I look around. The figure of Byok Munseong is nowhere to be seen. Kagagugu. Where Yuan Li's bloody wind struck, clouds of blood began to rise. The blood clouds flow into Yuan Li. Indeed, it's the best. The compatibility of summoning wind, true blood transformation, and blood demon suppressing sea light. Wooduk wooduk. On Yuan Li's forehead, small blood-colored antlers like a deer's begin to sprout. Byujuk. Somewhere the sound of teeth grinding is heard. Chengmun Yongjin is holding the split corpse of Jinlu Yonchen. Why, even to your own allies, why kill them so brutally? I'm simply distinguishing between those who serve me with true loyalty and those with other motives. He continues. I selectively killed only those who impudently begged to spare the losers. Whether to kill or spare the defeated is the choice of the master me, such audacious ones. He mocks us. Yes, you must have felt good from hiding behind a woman and receiving protection, huh? You only spout nonsense. In this world, there's no such thing as being on the same side. Kiyeving. Familiar formation, flags emerge from his storage artifact. Red formation flags fly across Serving Command Palace, setting up formation. Flash. And then, the first floor of Serving Command Palace collapses, merging with the second floor. He continues. Isn't it true that only those who become cruel and merciless can survive in the world of cultivators? When the Sea Dragon King, after I slayed his own kin, stood before me and even offered to spare my life in exchange for receiving 3 of his blows, I inwardly mocked him. Such foolishness to show mercy even to an enemy. What a weak mentality. Kagagugu. His formation continues to expand into the void, collapsing the layers of Serving Command Palace. I grit my teeth and try to approach him, but the powerful blood wind he created is too difficult to penetrate. Even stronger blood wind surges around Yuan Li. I endured his 3 blows and inflicted a slight wound on the Sea Dragon King, stealing a drop of his blood essence. Not only that, I succeeded in stealing the Sea Dragon tribe's method, summoning wind, true blood transformation. I have risen to this point by exploiting the Sea Dragon King's mercy, the sympathy of the powerful, the awe and fear of the weak, and the blood and lives of the foolish. Kagaguguk. Yuan Li's consciousness domain compresses, resembling the form of a sea dragon. Simultaneously, an aura akin to that of a sea dragon emanates from him. Quagwing. Before long, almost all the floors of Serving Command Palace have collapsed, leaving only the 7th floor. I have refined this blood body and ascended to this position by exploiting, stealing, and seizing. Isn't seizing and dominating the truth of the world? In this world, there are only those who seize and conquer and those who are conquered because they seize less. He laughs maniacally, raising the blood-colored leaf fan again. Chadajak. His formation flags pierce the ceiling of the last floor, the 7th floor of Serving Command Palace. If it collapses, the Serving Command seal will appear. Die, you fools. And then, Kiyeving. Outside Serving Command Palace. In the empty void, a ghostly mist begins to form. Through the communication device, a familiar voice is heard. I apologize, it took some time to prepare the teleportation array of the Nether crossing ship. After discussing with Ran, we decided to send him instead of me. Kagagugu. From inside the ghostly mist, a pale hand reaches out. A somber, ghostly aura flows from the void. He saw the situation and thought he could handle it. Take good care of Ran. With that, Songjin turns off the communication device. Phwack. Immediately afterwards, a familiar figure emerges from the ghostly mist. Half human, half dragon. No longer wearing the blue robe of the sea dragon tribe, but the black robe characteristic of Black Ghost Valley. Seo Ran, who has ascended to mid-stage core formation in the past 200 years, bow to us. Greetings, seniors. It's been a while, Senior Seo, and your reputation precedes you, Senior Yuan Li. Yuan Li halts his attack with the blood-colored leaf fan, and seeing Seo Ran, emits a bloody glow from his eyes. Ho, you are a half-blood of the Sea Dragon tribe and a disciple of Black Ghost Valley. I am Seo Ran. Yuan Li bursts into laughter. So, the lineage of the Sea Dragon King's blood that I refined with summoning wind, true blood transformation speaks. Are you not a descendant of the king? I am embarrassed, but yes, I am a descendant of the king. Good, good, how about you? Would you like to become my disciple? Yuan Li looks at Seo Ran, licking his lips. Seo Ran looks back at him for a moment and then speaks. Before anything, there are 3 major misconceptions you have, Senior Yuan, that I'd like to address. Oh, do tell. First, I already have a master, so I cannot become your disciple. Seo Ran raises one finger. Second, I have come to dislike someone who sacrifices others without a second thought like you. Today, I am here to help Senior Seo kill you. Yuan Li raises the blood-colored leaf fan, looking amused. Third, Seo Ran smirks, raising a third finger. The real name of the method you think you stole from the king is not summoning wind, true blood transformation. F-wish. Seo Ran flicks his fingers, bending all 3 at once. Kagagugu. And Yuan Li, about to attack with the leaf fan, suddenly kneels before Saren. What? It's summoning wind, blood core coagulation. You thought you stole it from the king and exploited his mercy, but... Seo Ran raises his ghostly energy. Yuan Li, not understanding, looks down at his own knees. Well, it seems more credible that the king deliberately passed it to you under the guise of being stolen. To think that you, Yuan Li, was unwittingly a puppet of the king this whole time. How pitiful, Senior Yuan. What is this? Indeed, Yuan Li had been under the illusion that he was exploiting Seo Atrial's goodwill, but in reality, he was unwittingly being played by Seo Atrial all along. This sea dragon, what are you doing to Lord Bloodwood? Mackley clan head, Mackley Hwangshan, and other clan members rushed towards Yuan Li. Unlike Jinlu Yongchen, they escaped Yuan Li's sudden execution. But, Seo Ran looks at them with cold eyes. Shut up, you livestock. Do you think you're worthy to speak to me? You would have been eating corpses underground, avoiding the gaze of the Sea Dragon tribe if they had not ascended. Shut up and follow the commands of your true master, you slaves. Azahi. At Seo Ran's command, Mackley Hwangshan and the Mackley clan cultivators, now unable to speak, blocked the path of the other traitors. Seo Ran's gaze reaches a fleeing Eastern lord and their subordinates. I thought the Mackley clan was the gathering place for all the runaway livestock. There were others too. Where are you going? Come here and heed the words of the king's descendant, Seo Ran. Kuwa. The lord in black bandages, who had stolen the main cannon of the Nether crossing ship from Manly Minlap and brought it to Yuan Li, now crawls on the ground at Seo Ran's command. Oh do. Wuduk wujuduk. And then, Yuan Li, suppressed by Seo Ran's command, begins to rise, emitting the power of nascent soul. Do not belittle a nascent soul cultivator. He staggers to his feet, resisting Seo Ran's command. Although still powerful, he seems to be using more than half of his energy to resist Seo Ran. Had he not switched to this body, infused with the blood of the Sea Dragon tribe and mastered true blood, core coagulating transformation, there would have been no way for me. But now, it's rather convenient. Seo Ran looks at me and smiles. While I can't completely control him due to the fundamental difference in cultivation, I can significantly hinder him. Senior, it's your turn to capture him. I nod at Seo Ran's smile, now understanding why Seo Atrial was so desperately trying to kill him. Yuan Li would eventually learn summoning wind, true blood transformation using Seo Atrial's blood. In that case, the remaining king's descendant, Seo Ran, would inherently become Yuan Li's weakness. Translator notes, donated chapter by ZZP. Thanks for the support. // Discord https://dsc.gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord. Chapter 126, What You Trampled on the Path You Have Tread, 14. Translating Novice. Alzaria. Yuan Li swings the blood wave fan. But, scatter. The blood storm he tries to summon disperses by Seo Ran's command. This, damn it. Yuan Li clenches his teeth, veins bulging all over his body. And then Yuan Li emits a bloody radiance. Flash. Dangerous. He's far more sinister than when he was in his old body, a completely different level of threat. I stand next to Seo Ran, grasping the colorless glass sword and the formless sword together, and use the first form of severing mountain swordsmanship towards the bloody radiance. Flash. Kwoosh. Tingling. After a moment of trembling hands, I glare at Yuan Li. Though greatly weakened under Seo Ran's control, he is still a nascent soul cultivator, significantly stronger than his peers. He hasn't reached the late stage of nascent soul. Just like I distributed my power among the curse dolls, he focused more on the cultivation of the so-called blood body than his own, hence not reaching the late stage of nascent soul. Instead, he created the blood body and added a millennium to his lifespan, which is no loss for him. Truly, the more one uncovers, the more sinister and formidable he becomes. But now, all of his cards are revealed. There is nothing more to worry about. The hidden power that the Byoke clan head mentioned must have been this blood body. Finally, if I just take down this body, it's over. I dash towards Yuan Li with blazing eyes, and Seo Ran also forms a spell next to me. I wondered why this desert is so cold. Turns out there's so much yin energy sleeping beneath this land. At his spell, the base of Yuan Li's black castle beings to boil and bubble. Then, Kiela, Kwaek. An enormous amount of yin energy erupts, and a terrifying number of vengeful souls and ghosts begin pouring out from under Yuan Li's black castle. Kiela. With their emergence, the previously clear desert sky fills with yin energy, dark clouds gathering once more. How many thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands did you slaughter and devour, Senior Yuan Li? Even the elders who managed the livestock farms would shake their heads. Seo Ran clicks his tongue and forms another spell. Yuan Li, with eyes blasting bloodlight, charges at Seo Ran. But I, along with the other surviving core formation cultivators, including Qingmun Yungjin, block his path with lit eyes. I blame you. Bloodwood practitioner Yuan Li. Yuan Li. Countless ghostly wails cry out Yuan Li's name. Seo Ran too looks appalled, and the ghosts crawling out from under the black castle continue to multiply. Yuan Li's complexion darkens. This crazy. Why is a member of the Sea Dragon tribe practicing the methods of the Black Ghost Valley? I've told you, I'm a disciple of the Great Black Ghost Valley. Seo Ran smiles and continues his spellcasting. And his spell becomes complete. I, Seo Ran, who hosts this ghost festival, call upon the spirits to reveal their reason for resentment. Yuan Li. Kill Yuan Li. We were killed by the Bloodwood practitioner. Having heard your cries, I, Seo Ran, disciple of Black Ghost Valley, offer you the opportunity to manifest in physical form and seek to assist you in your revenge. Please lend me your strength. Revenge. We can take revenge. Take revenge against him. Yuan Li. Kiela. Thousands of ghosts cry Yuan Li's name, howling in hordes. All around Seo Ran, an enormous ghostly power erupts from within the ghost fog. It's definitely not a level of ghostly power Seo Ran can produce alone. Disciple of the Black Ghost Valley, Seo Ran, hosting this festival and swearing in the name of the Nether Crossing ship, offers you the chance to manifest and aid your revenge. But you too must swear to lend your strength against him. Seo Ran's voice echoes in all directions, and Yuan Li bursts into laughter. I see what spell you're trying to cast. That's a heavenly being level technique. Can someone like you even handle it? But Seo Ran ignores Yuan Li's words and continues on. And then, Kiela, Kwaya, Kagagugu. Around Seo Ran, surrounded by ghost fog. From somewhere afar, immense power flows from the Nether Crossing ship, pouring into the thousands of ghosts slaughtered by Yuan Li. If everything went as planned, Songjin would have anchored the Nether Crossing ship deep in the ocean. After gathering the yin and ghostly energy of the deep sea through the nether crossing ship, it was planned to be transmitted to Seo Ran via the ship's teleportation array. Whoosh! Tens of thousands of ghosts gain strength and wail. Then, as Seo Ran completes his spell, tens of thousands of ghosts rush into his body. Seo Ran's aura begins to surge dramatically. The power of tens of thousands of ghosts converge into Seo Ran. Yuan Li shouts with a tense voice. Fool, you won't be able to contain that power. Just explode and die, foolish sea dragon. Then, Master, please come. Seo Ran calls out while looking at the ghost fog. SSSHHH. I shudder as I feel every hair on my body stand. Another soul, not Seo Ran's, is present in his upper dantian. The attaching spirit great spell. It allows one to attach a part of their original spirit to someone else, enabling the distant exertion of their power. Kug cough. I find it hard to breathe and collapse on the spot. Not just me. Even Chingmun Yungjin and numerous core formation cultivators who were blocking Yuan Li all suddenly fell to their knees, overwhelmed. Even Yuan Li, who is full of vigor, trembles violently. I avoid. Song Jin, the elder of Black Ghost Valley and a heavenly being cultivator, has gathered tens of thousands of vengeful ghosts that Yuan Li had slaughtered. At this moment, he regained his original strength. What a nostalgic scene. Blue ghost fire lights up in Seo Ran's eyes. From his mouth, a different voice than Seo Ran's. It's Song Jin. He seems lost in thought, looking at something different in the void. Yuan Li, who looks as if he's about to foam at this mouth, emanates an intent of horror. Why is there a heavenly being cultivator? Right, let's not fall into nostalgia. Even though it's just a remnant spirit left in my remnant soul, using the attaching spirit great spell is quite taxing on both my and Rand's souls. Let's finish this quickly. Kiyala. Tens of thousands of resentful souls wail. Ghostly claws sprout from Song Jin's hand, now occupying Seo Ran's body. Hua, why are you still here? Why is a heavenly being cultivator still here? Yuan Li desperately tries to flee, invoking the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. Die. And then, Guaguaguaguang. The strike tears away the outer walls of Serving Command Palace. The ancient barrier surrounding Yuan Li's Black Castle, which even the combined efforts of core formation cultivators couldn't budge, is also torn like paper. Guaguaguang. A valley forms in the desert. Not a small one created by cultivators, but the desert literally cleaves in half. No other words can describe the scene. Simply put, the desert split in two. That alone is enough. And then, the piece of meat that was once Yuan Li, hit by Song Jin's strike, twitches in the corner of Serving Command Palace. Truly proving his feat of having survived Cohuial's 3 ultimate strikes, he's still alive, albeit reduced to a piece of flesh. And then, Kyulak. Song Jin in Seo Ran's body coughs up black blood. He looks at me. You said you learned a curse method, right? Transfer all the burdens inflicted on my disciple's body and soul to me, the caster of the attaching spirit great spell. Will you be all right? I'm already a dead body, so why does it matter? Just quickly transfer the burden. Following Song Jin's request, I used the Yin Soul Ghost incantation to transfer all burdens on Seo Ran's body and soul to Song Jin as a curse. It's possible because Song Jin himself allows it. Haha, this reduces the time I can spend with my disciple by 100 years. Damn it. If Yuan Li was a threat to my disciple, I would never have done this. Surely you won't tell me that you can't finish him off after I've turned him into a piece of meat. I am leaving now. With those words, Song Jin releases the attaching spirit great spell and disappears from Seo Ran's body. So this is the power of a heavenly being. I laugh hollowly at the traces Song Jin leaves behind. It's my first time witnessing the attack of a heavenly being cultivator up close. The sight of the split desert is chilling. Now he's completely neutralized. Everyone attack. I hold the colorless glass sword and fly toward the meat that was once Yuan Li. The other core formation cultivators, released from Song Jin's pressure, also rush toward the flesh with blazing eyes. That's when it happens. Kagagugu. From the Black Castle, the crimson stream flows again. Again. Chengmun Yongjin exclaims in disgust. Everyone, prevent it from reaching Yuan Li. I pour out curses, creating a river of curse spells. The dark river of curses entwines around Yuan Li. I'll corrupt whatever long source true power and everything else. But then, swoosh, the long source true power summoned by Yuan Li. Instead of Yuan Li, it heads towards the formation flags he had stuck in the ceiling of the serving command palace. What? I grip my teeth and raise the colorless glass sword. Everyone stop it. He's trying to summon the serving command seal. At that moment, woo-wah, the meat lump that used to be Yuan Li emits an immense bloody radiance, shaking off my curses and soars into the sky. I too will stake my life. Hua. I instantly realize what he's doing. He's burning his own nascent soul. A gamble that can burn up the nascent soul completely, leading to death, or at least dropping the level of cultivation if it goes wrong. But if the gamble succeeds, he'll obtain the serving command seal. I clench my teeth, explode all my energy, and rush after him. Chuarukrug. From the meat lump that is Yuan Li, numerous branches sprout, forming a bloody forest that blocks my path. The remaining core formation, cultivators, all rush in to break through the forest together. Wowung. In an instant I reach Yuan Li. Do you think it'll go as you wish? Out of my way. Chuaruruk. From Yuan Li's body, his nascent soul pops out. A baby with numerous hands, eyes, and mouths. The baby cuts off one of its hands attached to the soul and throws it at me. Even if my cultivation drops, even if my entire plan completely collapses, I cannot retreat from this spot. Boom! The sacrificed arm of the nascent soul explodes massively, engulfing me. Severing mountain swordsmanship, severing mountain. Kuguaguagua. I pierce through the explosion, chasing after Yuan Li. Neglecting defense and focusing solely on breaking through the explosion, the skin on my entire body peels off. But thanks to the life force of a core formation cultivator and the effect of the spirit nectar's enhanced regeneration, my skin quickly heals. Flash. His formation activates. The last floor of serving command palace collapses, and finally, Payet, the serving command seal, appears in the sky of the serving command palace. Todd. I gulp down as many of the liquors I have remaining in my storage artifact. White red wine, enhancing the connection with my Dharma treasures. Dream lotus elixir, increasing the speed of my Dharma treasures. Red moon dew, strengthening my power. And then, boom! Yuan Li, in the form of a baby nascent soul, explodes all his hands, eyes, and mouths. Flash. In an instant, Yuan Li gains tremendous power by damaging his nascent soul. After drinking numerous immortal wines and focusing all that power into a single point, I throw the colorless glass sword. My sword in Yuan Li's hand reach the serving command seal at the same time. And at that moment, stop! Xiao Ran's voice reaches Yuan Li. Yuan Li's body freezes in place. My colorless glass sword deflects the serving command seal and hits it far away. This is the end. I charge towards Yuan Li, unfolding the ultimate technique of severing mountain swordsmanship, severing mountain. Payet. At that moment, a bloody light begins to glow. Pererek. The formation flags Yuan Li had infused with long source true power. Destroying all floors of serving command palace, the flags still floating in the air move, surrounding and holding the far-flung serving command seal. Simultaneously, Chuerek. From one side of the meat lump, tentacle-like tendrils sprout, grabbing the serving command seal. I am the master of the serving command seal. Rumble. Fortune has tilted in my favor. His cockroach-like persistence finally succeeded in grabbing the serving command seal. Chuaruruk. He regenerates his body. Drip, drip. Yuan Li, as always, still hides his face behind the black mask. However, blood flows from beneath. Clearly not in a good state. But he is laughing. The blood body I have hidden, all my long source true power. I have used them all, even going as far to damage my nascent soul, reducing my cultivation to the early stage. Having gone this far to seize heavenly fate, if I can't defeat you all, call me a damned pig. He's got the serving command seal. I still clench my teeth and charge at him. But with something as metaphysical as fate, he can't recover his strength. He's near death and hasn't been able to regain his strength. I'll kill him and snatch the serving command seal. At that moment, rumble. Serving Command Palace begins to collapse. After being hit by Song Jin's attack, and even losing the Serving Command Seal to Yuan Li, the exterior walls of Serving Command Palace slowly crumble. Those fragments begin to fall precisely towards me. Boom, boom. I slash through the debris of the exterior walls. But strangely, no debris falls towards Yuan Li, and he smoothly flies past me. I slash the formless sword at him, but precisely between him and me, the debris of Serving Command Palace falls, and my formless sword misses him. What is this? My eyes widen in confusion. Foolish boy, it seems the heavens are on my side. Xiao Ran orders Yuan Li. Kneel. But Yuan Li, holding the Serving Command Seal, just laughs. Oh my. Coincidentally, it seems all the essence blood of the Sea Dragon King in my body evaporated when I was hit by the attack of the heavenly being Cultivator. It's truly a coincidence. What? Boom. Yuan Li emits blood light. Xiao Ran is swept away by the blood light straight into the Black Castle. Yuan Li follows Xiao Ran out of Serving Command Palace, and strangely, the collapsing Serving Command Palace stops breaking down the moment Yuan Li leaves. Crack. I finally managed to escape the bombardment of debris. What is this? This isn't some striking coincidence. It's as if the entire world is standing on his side. And then, the ghost of Song Jin, watching the situation from my embrace, suddenly starts howling. Damn it, that cockroach-like bastard, surviving from getting hit by even that and getting his hands on the Serving Command Seal. It's Song Jin's voice. He urgently speaks to me. You look around. How many remaining ghosts are there around us? Prompted by Song Jin's voice, I widen my perception and survey the surroundings. But perhaps because everything had been exhausted by Song Jin's strike, there are almost no remaining ghosts or resentful souls. Almost none. Damn it, if there were as many ghosts as before, I could have snatched back the Serving Command Seal and whatever else. Damn it, damn it. Song Jin curses and then cuts off the communication. I quickly follow after Xiao Ran and Yuan Li into the Black Castle. Just then, Cultivator Xiao. Under the debris of Serving Command Palace, I hear the voice of Byok Munxiang. Cultivator Byok. He is half buried under the debris. No, the problem isn't that he is half buried, but rather, like Buck Hyang-Hwa, his lower body is missing somewhere. Only a quarter of his body remains. Nevertheless, he is still alive due to the tenacious life force of a core formation cultivator. However, his golden core is shattered. He is about to die soon. Byok Munxiang fumbles his mouth and speaks to me. I won't hold you long since it's urgent this. He pulls out a small glass shard from his chest and hands it to me. That is a glass sculpture carved from inside a centipede den with a cursed doll. It's a shard of that sculpture. I loved her too, but compared to you, perhaps my love wasn't that deep. Rather, if I hadn't been resentful of you for stealing her from me, I might have given up chasing after her in a few years. But anyhow, she was my first love, please. He clenches his teeth and hands me the glass shard. Avenge her, I beg you. I clench my teeth and take the shard he hands me. Understood, rest well. With that, Byok Munxiang closes his eyes. I leave Byok Munxiang behind and enter the castle, with the surviving core formation cultivators. Whoosh! Inside the Black Castle, the air is thick with the smell of blood. I swiftly fly towards where I sense movement. The center of the castle. The grand hall there. I head to that place, where the smell of blood is the strongest, where a few survivors have gathered. Soon I see Yuan Li entangling Xiao Ran with blood. Kagagugu. I clench my teeth. Yuan Li is leisurely holding the Serving Command Seal. Externally, he is just a nascent soul at the initial stage, a very weakened early nascent soul. But internally, he has risen back to the level of a mid-stage nascent soul. Entering my castle to confront me, who holds the Serving Command Seal. Admirable courage. But all of you who injured me to the point of damaging my nascent soul will be reduced to a handful of long-source true power. Yuan Li grins wickedly. I was momentarily bewildered by the appearance of a heavenly being. But yes, I've heard rumors about one of the elders of Black Ghost Valley, a ghost soul beheaded by the Mad Lord, stuck in the ruined nether-crossing ship like a bound spirit, waiting for the day to be dragged into the realm of the dead. It must be him, right? Ha ha ha, it's impressive that such a remnant soul could deliver a strike at the heavenly being stage. His days of being dragged to the netherworld must be numbered now. Yuan Li smirked sinisterly. Now I have nothing to worry about. All that's left is to kill all of you and heal my injuries. Blood light flashes around him. I didn't realize that summoning wind, true blood transformation, was a trap left by Cohl, but now that I do, I just need to extract the practice of summoning wind, true blood transformation from my blood body. I'll deal with all of you with only the blood demon suppressing sea light and blood chain binding forest. Can we win? It's truly despairing. How in the world can we defeat this monster? Even if I risk my life now, an unleash foolish old man moves mountains. Can I manage to land a strike? Is this life even worth it? That's when, wriggle, wriggle, the ghost left in my arms by Song Jin starts to speak again. What's the situation inside? Him? Alerted by Song Jin's voice, Yuan Li's body shudders. Xiao Ran is captured, and Yuan Li is showing off his mid-nascent soul cultivation while holding the serving command seal. I see, it's going to be a bit noisy, so make sure you protect Xiao Ran well. Him? Just then, boom! With a sound as if the heavens are tearing apart, one side of the Black Castle's wall collapses. A massive shockwave whirls through the hall, and I shield Xiao Ran from the debris and shockwave headed his way. And then, I realize the identity of the surprise. Yuan Li and I both utter its name. Nether Crossing Ship. Nether Crossing Ship. It's a completely ruined dark wreck. Song Jin rammed the Nether Crossing Ship into Yuan Li's castle for his disciple. Barrier. And then, the debris from the Nether Crossing Ship flies and forms some sort of formation around Xiao Ran. Yuan Li, reminded of his dreadful experience at the hands of Song Jin, stands stiffly. Anyone who wants to live, get into the barrier I've set up. I'll let everyone in except that Yuan Li bastard. Kagagugu. Song Jin, gripping the helm of the Nether Crossing Ship, burns with ghost fire and speaks. Since my last move used up a lot of the time I can remain in this world, I might as well leave now. Ma master. Xiao Ran calls out to Song Jin in a desperate voice. Song Jin looks fondly at Xiao Ran. Disciple, remember this well. The will of Black Ghost Valley is not in the Nether Crossing Ship, but in the people who reside inside. Swish. Song Jin pulls out a dark pearl. It's the space-breaking bead. The serving command seal is frightening, but there are 3 ways to counter it. First, a fate stronger than the serving command seal. Second, overwhelming power. And third, no, you can't, space-breaking beetle. As the descendant of the Sea Dragon King, I command you, do not respond to my master's command. Kagagugu. The Nether Crossing Ship begins to vibrate. History, if it's something with a long history, it can resist fate. Experience the Nether Crossing Ship's history of 500,000 years. The Nether Crossing Ship and the space-breaking bead begin to glow simultaneously. Why aren't you listening to me, space-breaking bead? Listen to me. Xiao Ran, his eyes rolling in panic, ignores the Nether Crossing Ship and shouts. No, master, master. Space-breaking bead active, Nether Crossing Ship. In his final moments, Song Jin looks at Xiao Ran. Somehow his eye sockets streaming with ghost fire seem to be smiling. Self-destruct. I hurriedly pull Qingmun Yungjin and the other cultivators into the barrier Song Jin set up. Yuan Li frantically pounds on the barrier trying to get in, but since Song Jin doesn't allow it, he can only stupidly keep pounding while holding the serving command seal. And then, a dark storm engulfs everything. The storm subsides. Xiao Ran, weeping tears of blood, frees himself from Yuan Li's restraint and gazes at the debris before him. The barrier set up by Song Jin barely withstood the storm. The reason it could withstand the terrifying spatial storm seemed to be not because the barrier itself was robust, but rather because the barrier, made from the debris of the Nether Crossing Ship, is unaffected by the power of the same Nether Crossing Ship. It's a matter of property, not the magnitude of power. I step out of the barrier. Squelch, squelch. Hefty. I spit words with contempt. Truly, utterly despicable. A blood-soaked lump of flesh. Above this lump, a figure of a blue dragon appeared, guarding the meat lump. Coatl, is it you again? Just stop coming out. Swoosh. The dragon figure, having faced the spatial storm, scatters away. However, thanks to Coatl's protection, Yuan Li is still not dead. Coh. I cry out his name in venom. Churak Chururuk. The lump of flesh begins to regenerate. Kurog Kurog. Yuan Li reveals himself again. Now Yuan Li also looks precarious. His mask is shattered, covering only his eyes and forehead, leaving his mouth exposed. His cultivation dropped to the grand perfection of core formation. But, Wowung, the debris of the Black Castle, shattered by the Nether crossing ship, supplements his power. Wowung, his cultivation soars back to the initial stage of nascent soul. Whether he is too weak to speak in consciousness, he bursts into laughter with his voice. Serving command seal, the serving command seal, saved me, and with this early nascent soul cultivation I can still, against you lot. He spits out a mouthful of blood while speaking. Karg Gag. Tusk. I attempt to approach him, but as he waves his hand, a blood light of early nascent soul level bursts out, blocking me. You people like you, these youngsters, do you know how I live to this day? For 900 years what preparations I made, with what emotions I came this far. Do you know, I won't die, I will not die. He screams, emitting power of the early nascent soul stage. I look at him calmly. I as well, I've lived for about 900 years too. What? Don't casually use age to assert in front of me. Boom. I charge at him, swinging the formless sword. But even as he vomits blood from the blow, he manages to fend me off, and the recoil sends me flying backward. K-Ka, these wretched fools, you vermin have driven me to this. I'll kill you all. I stagger, trying to stand up. Then, I see a Jade Norgi among the debris of the Black Castle. The Norgi lay at Yuan Li's feet. I hastily search my bosom. Fortunately, Hyang Hwa's Norgi is still in my possession. Then that one must be the great-grandson of Woryang. It's his. His relic must have been rolling around somewhere in Yuan Li's castle after being consumed by Yuan Li. While I gaze at the Norgi, Yuan Li, noticing my gaze, approaches it while sneering. Ah, right, this Norgi. Was it the one that woman beside you 200 years ago had? He approaches the Norwich. He provocatively reminds me of my memories with Buck Hyang Hwa. A vile provocation, but it's proof of how desperate he has become. This garbage. Crunch, crunch. He stomps on Woryang's great-grandson's pendant, crushing it. Crunch. You trash-like wretches, the trash you carry around is nothing, no matter how much you struggle with the serving command seal in hand. It's not. What? I slowly stand up. I have made my decision. It's not trash. It's not trash. Look, this is trash. What's under my foot is. I vowed to stay alive until I offer his head to their souls. But now, after Songjin sacrificed his life, creating this opportunity, here and now, even if I can't offer his head to them, I have resolved to die. I grip my teeth and raise the colorless glass sword. What you trampled on, no. Right at this moment, everything you trampled on with your filthy feet up to this point, is not trash. More earnestly than any other moment, I'll show you. Holding my sword, yearn for the next realm. What you trampled on, what it truly is. Severing mountain swordsmanship. The final move. The 24th move. Foolish old man moves mountains. The end of severing mountain swordsmanship. The most ferocious self-destruction technique erupts from my fingertips. Translator notes, donated chapter by Stefano GOP and Augustus. Thanks for the support. / ********. Discord https://dsc.gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord. Chapter 127, What You Trampled on the Path You Have Tread, 15. Translating novice. Yuan Li's attack meets Seo Yunhyan's head-on. A colorless brilliance and a crimson light collides. Ting. A crisp, resounding note echoes throughout the battlefield. It's clear. And weak. A smirk fills Yuan Li's face. Putting on such a show of might, but is this all you've got? Weak. Not even the level of cultivator. Just a mortal swinging a sword with all his might. Somehow he managed to block Yuan Li's strike, but it's a close call. That is it. Yuan Li wakes up in realization. It's not just me who's weakened. The small fry opposing him is also significantly drained of strength. If I just take care of these bastards, I'll truly be the victor. He grins broadly. Keep hammering away with that stupid glass sword all you want. I'll shatter it to pieces. Blood light streams out as he forms a seal. Kagagugu. Blood clouds swirl around him. Among the blood clouds, blood trees grow, creating a forest of blood. Not only Seo Yunhayan, but also the core formation cultivators trying to help him frown and flee from the bloody forest. I won't let them escape. One by one, he'll catch them all and grind them to dust. Yuan Li thinks this as he flies toward the most annoying bug, Seo Yunhayan. Trapped in the bloody forest, swinging his sword foolishly, Seo Yunhayan's figure is clear in Yuan Li's eyes. Farewell, you left a deep impression though. Kagagugu. Blood vines sprout from his hands, stabbing towards Seo Yunhayan. And Seo Yunhayan, holding his glass sword, begins to deflect them. Yuan Li laughs, his mouth splitting wide. So weak he'll fall soon. Didn't you say you'd show me something? I don't want to see you flounder pathetically, just D. And then, thump, Seo Yunhayan's sword strikes the blood vines. Huh? Something is off. Normally, humans weaken as they expend energy. But Yuan Li frowns at the recoil he just felt. Stronger than before. It wasn't significantly stronger. But definitely stronger than before. Is it just my imagination? No, that can't be. Yuan Li bites his lip hard. Kwang. Seo Yunhayan's sword again strikes his vine and pushes back his bloody forest. It wasn't an illusion. His sword is indeed stronger than before. But it's negligible, no need to worry. Just die as you are. Killing. Blood demon suppressing sea light. Above Yuan Li's hands, an apparition of a blood sea forms, plunging down towards Seo Yunhayan. Seo Yunhayan doesn't look at the blood descending upon him. He just closes his eyes and raises his sword. Severing mountain swordsmanship. Secluded valley. He dives into the blood pool, twisting his body up through a gap and slices through it. Churerek. Yuan Li's spell splits in an instant. Yuan Li's face hardens. Kung. Seo Yunhayan lands back on the ground. And on the spot he lands, his footprints are deeply imprinted. Kwang kwang kwang. With every move he makes, with every posture he adopts, the depth of his footprints increase. The amplification rate of his attacks is increasing. Like rolling a snowball. Each time he slashes through Yuan Li's spell with his sword grows increasingly fierce. Yuan Li stops chasing the other cultivators. I need to catch this guy first. It's dangerous. His intuition, heightened by reaching nascent soul, forewarns of ominous fate. I've obtained the serving command seal. I can't lose. Water flow. Chuaruruk. Blood water surges, transforming into a river of blood, engulfing Seo Yunhayan. And then, severing mountain swordsmanship, bouldered cliff. Seo Yunhayan begins to spin. It's a sword dance. His sword dance, as if not allowing even a single gap, wildly swirls around, deflecting every drop of blood, every ripple of the river. An unbelievable display of martial arts. And Seo Yunhayan's sword, with every slash of Yuan Li's spell, continues to grow stronger. Slowly but steadily. The final move of severing mountain swordsmanship. Foolish old man moves mountain is a technique as follows. First, using endless mountains beyond mountains, it prevents any trace of one's energy from leaking out. Second, while maintaining that state, it uses the 21st move, Heavenly Lake, to absorb all residual flow and power generated from clashes with the opponent. Third, applying Echoing Valley, it integrates the opponent's power into one's own and unleashes it back. Fourth, concentrating all those intricate forces into a single point with Mountain Tiger, it forcibly suppresses the backlash. Fifth, it distributes the burden applied to the body as much as possible, using layered mountains and mountain and valley transformation, dissipating it into the ground. It sounds complicated, but in a nutshell, it's a technique that strengthens one's own attacks by drawing in the opponent's power with each clash. And the price for forcibly drawing in the opponent's power is the user's death. Therefore, a martial artist using Foolish Old Man moves mountain keeps getting stronger as they fight, but eventually explodes and dies due to the inability to suppress the power they've gathered. Kwang. Absorbing Yuan Li's attack with my technique, and then countering with that power. Using the principle of endless mountains beyond mountains, I don't waste any energy in my counterattack, but return it back to my opponent. Gradually, my attacks grow stronger. Before long, instead of being overwhelmed by Yuan Li's spells, I am blocking it head-on. With Foolish Old Man moves mountains, each clash with the opponent at the very least strengthens me by a bit. And I have had thousands of clashes with Yuan Li. Pugwag. Unable to bear the enormous power surging through my body starts to burst open in various places. But the beauty of being a cultivator is, Sururuk, the regeneration ability is beyond human. The duration I can maintain Foolish Old Man moves mountains differs from when Kim Young-hoon uses it. Kwang. My footprints deepen further. And then, I take a step forward. Rip. My cleave tears through Yuan Li's forest, paving a path. His forest tries to regenerate, but I take another step and swing my sword again. I'm no longer just defensively blocking his techniques in one spot. I'm clearly advancing towards him. What is this? Yuan Li clenches his teeth and draws his dagger Dharma treasure. Kiyak. He brings out his blood-colored spear, and the Ghost King made of blood mist is summoned. Churak. Cutting his own finger to feed the Ghost King, it blazes red and grows fiercer. It charges at me, spear in hand, through the forest I have torn apart. I close my eyes. Blood is flowing from my entire body, making it almost impossible to see. Let's return to the basics of when I first learned martial arts. I close my eyes and enter the world of intent. Red and blue lines. Since awakening the domain of consciousness as a cultivator, I didn't pay much attention to it, relying only on the domain. The domain of consciousness is ultimately a more advanced version of the flow of intent. But facing these red and blue threads again, like when I first entered the pinnacle realm, I realized something I haven't before. Were these threads always carrying so much? The lines emanating from the Ghost King glow red. In terms of emotions, it's either anger or killing intent. But within that killing intent, there are countless meanings. From the next move to why such a move is made, what they are thinking at the moment, etc. Through martial arts, I now transparently see the opponent's heart. The Ghost King in front of me is actually Yuan Li's puppet. Therefore, the emotions felt from the Ghost King are Yuan Li's emotions. Fear and anger, shame, humiliation, a bit of anticipation. These are the emotions I sense from Yuan Li. What about my own heart? Suddenly, while clashing with the Ghost King, I become curious about my own emotions, not Yuan Li's. I see. My heart is filled with pain, and the anticipation of death that will come at the end of this pain. That's all. I want to die. I desire death. With each use of the Foolish Old Man moves mountains. It feels like my muscles are tearing apart. Not metaphorically, but literally, as blood bursts from various parts of my body with each and every movement. My footprints grow deeper. Yet in this immense pain facing death, I am in absolute tranquility. Is this the end of this life? I will die wielding my sword, as I have in so many lives before. As death approaches, the flashbacks of previous lives which visited me several times before pass before my eyes. Starting from the very first life, up to the death that happened 10 times. 900 years of life. In that overwhelming life, there was shining love that lasted a mere 10 years. Is the life of a human being so fleeting? What am I really swinging my sword for? Whirl. Suddenly, amidst my suffering and swordplay, upon deeply searching my heart, I stumble upon an area of emptiness, devoid of anything. Emptiness. Completely empty. Why am I still alive? Life is nothing but pain. Isn't that what I realized through Yin Soul Ghost incantation? I just want to quickly end this life and move on to the next. Just when I am thinking so. If life is filled with emptiness, are the times we spent together meaningless too? A warm hand seems to rest upon my sword-wielding hand. Scenes flash before my eyes. Days spent with her. Good moments, regretful moments, painful moments. And the scenes don't stop there but continue. Moments of triumph after establishing the palace of heavenly demons with Kim Young-hoon. Moments of reaching new heights in martial arts. The moment when KHWA gifted me a paper flower while I was teaching my disciples. The moment when I died to save my disciples. The moment I met my master. The moment I bowed 10 times to him and passed. These aren't flashbacks. My flashbacks aren't so radiant. Whenever I am about to die, only moments of futility flash by. This is all I see. Colorless glass sword, third form. All heaven's real power isn't just about gathering thousands of colorless glass swords to strengthen it. Emotion. The colorless glass sword is a Dharma treasure that heightens human emotions. I had forgotten that Buck Hyung-Hwa, while creating the colorless glass sword, researched the circuits of the Mad Lord using human emotions. She had designed this Dharma treasure to harbor human emotions, mimicking the Mad Lord's puppet. Just as human consciousness, including the 7 emotions, is made up of tens, hundreds, and millions of emotions. Each circuit of the colorless glass sword overlaps, creating millions of emotions, which then form another consciousness within the sword. Killing. I infuse the formless sword. The formless sword is originally a bundle of my consciousness mixed with Gang Chi. When the artificial consciousness in the colorless glass sword touches mine, it begins to amplify my consciousness. The power of the formless sword grows. But this is the same power I felt when I first activated all heavens. The power I just discovered in the colorless glass sword doesn't end here. Flash. The colorless glass sword begins to shine. The artificial consciousness in the sword stimulates my emotions. Accepting my intense emotions, it starts to imbue them to the formless sword. Yes, the colorless glass sword is transforming my emotions into power. Kwang. The Ghost King's spear explodes with a single swing. The Ghost King attached to the spear also explodes and disappears. Yuan Li panics, continually using spells, even harming himself to summon more sinister blood techniques. He is eroding his own body to stop me, while I am exploding my entire body to advance towards him. I am probably half out of my mind from the pain. I keep my eyes closed, feeling only the flow of intent as I move forward. And I observe my heart, the void realm of emptiness. In this empty realm, the colorless glass sword is infusing emotions from my past. Happy moments, frustrating moments. Joyful moments, angry moments, sad moments, enjoyable moments, loving moments, hateful moments. Was it so? I thought this life was futile. After killing Yuan Li, I thought about dying any moment. But the colorless glass sword, the will she left behind, is telling me that this life is not just entirely meaningless. But what am I supposed to do? I am going to die. Even if I know that life is not meaningless, I will die, exploding my entire body towards a powerful enemy. I know I wanted to live with you, but you were killed by him, and I will also die from fighting him. Even if this life is not meaningless, even if all of the heavens are filled with a myriad of colors, what am I supposed to do? How futile is human will before their predetermined fate? Kwang. As my emotions intensify, the colorless glass sword further amplifies the formless sword. The space between Yuan Li and me clears away. He forms a seal, preparing a more sinister spell. I can't block it. Even if I perish together with that spell. Even with the power I have accumulated through foolish old man moves mountain, it's impossible to block any further. Isn't there an inherent disparity set from the moment of birth in this world? Aren't there defined limits for a human being? It was in this instant. If it was Young Hoon Hyung Nim, he would have never said something like this. Limits. From within, where I have placed Kim Young-hoon's inner core, I feel something warm rising. It might have just been my imagination. I start thinking of such things when wielding a sword. From his inner core, I feel a warm coziness. It's like the morning sunshine. His brilliant golden surpassing radiant saber. Suddenly, I open my eyes. Next to me, Kim Young-hoon is wielding the surpassing radiant saber. It's not real. Just a hallucination, as I am half out of my mind due to pain. But the hallucination speaks exactly what Kim Young-hoon would have said. Even if there are limits, what can you do? You still have to live. Severing mountain swordsmanship and severing vein saber method. Formless sword and surpassing radiant saber. Unknowingly, I follow Kim Young-hoon's martial arts, mirroring his movements. He too is using foolish old man moves mountains. Kung kung kung. As my footprints deepen, so do his. Our movements overlap. Isn't that what living is all about? Even if there are those better than you, and others even better than them. What else can you do? In this moment, with the task you received, with what you can do, just do to the best of your abilities. What is this conversation? It isn't the hallucination speaking. It's a real conversation. Something I remember hearing at the company. Do you know the reason why martial arts and life are not different? The hallucination smiles at me and speaks. Since you are born into this body, don't think about limits. Beyond the hallucination, I see the image of Kim Young-hoon and myself before crossing into this world. In this moment, with the task you received, with what you can do. Short memories of Kim Young-hoon overlap with the voice of the hallucination. Just go forward without distractions. Just do your best. A gentle, yet calloused hand pushes me from behind. Kim Young-hoon, who leads ahead, pulls me forward. Yes, let go of distractions. Even if there are limits called fate from birth. What can be done about it? Right here, right now. Do what can be done to the best of my abilities. Now that I know life isn't meaningless, I won't think about the limits imposed by fate anymore. Just wield the sword. I look at the colorless glass sword in my hand, and the formless sword overlapping it. They are my life. Then, I look again at the figure unfolding, foolish old man, moves mountains beside me. It isn't Kim Young-hoon. It's my face. The hallucination approaches and overlaps with me. Ah, I see. All this time, I have been following Kim Young-hoon's footsteps. Everything I see before me. I have been endlessly chasing the footsteps Kim Young-hoon left in the last moments of his life. But what I thought was Kim Young-hoon dancing beside me was myself all along. And Kim Young-hoon's voice is now coming from behind. Look ahead, Seo Yoon-hyun. A frail hand, along with a steadfast one, simultaneously pushes my back. Believe in the path you have tread. Only now do I realize why I failed to see the next realm in my past life. It wasn't about the pain Yuan Lee caused. I was just following Kim Young-hoon. From beyond the path to heavens, our paths have diverged, unbeknownst to me. It's okay not to be as fast. My sword doesn't have to be golden. It doesn't need to split space. So, I realize I stand at the very end of the path tread by Kim Young-hoon. Let's go to the next. Stepping beyond this point, I will be diverging from the path he has walked. Young-hoon Hyung-nim, I will step upon the path you have walked. But still, let's go forward. I'm moving further from the path tread by Kim Young-hoon. Shout from within this realm I step onto. Beyond the path. Sorry, Hyung-nim. I will name this realm myself. In honor of the path you tread. And to mark this place where I took my first step. Treading heaven. On behalf of Kim Young-hoon's will, I roar vigorously. I wield the colorless glass sword. Wum. The blood sea that has enveloped the sky splits in half. Surung sururung. Casting aside all stray thoughts about fate, my heart becomes a void. In this moment, I realize that void isn't just emptiness. The formless sword, the embodiment of my heart, begins to merge with the void. Gang sphere is in fact one. Martial arts and I are one entity. Words left by Kim Young-hoon in the past life. Now I understand. Splitting the gang sphere according to the logic of heaven, earth, and man, realizing they are all me, I merge the gang sphere into the formless sword. But isn't there one gang sphere left unmerged? Inner core. I thought I was handling 9 gang spheres. But in reality, there is a 10th gang sphere left. The moment I realize the meaning of the emptiness, my inner core that is nestled in the center of my golden core melts, becoming an intangible energy, and merges with the formal sword in my hand. Kim Young-hoon's technique of an external inner core is one of the paths to this realm. The formless sword, fully connected with the inner core within my body, begins from the dantian and pervades my entire being. Yes, throughout the entire body. In every single muscle fiber. In every blood vessel, the formless sword settles. I become the formless sword itself. The same must have been true for Kim Young-hoon. He too, with the surpassing radiant saber rooted throughout his body, must have stepped into the new realm. The moment I melt the 10th gang sphere, the true ability of the formless sword comes into my hands. A small miracle created by the will to walk a different path from Kim Young-hoon. Before I know it, I appear right in front of Yuan Lee. Now, with the formless sword ingrained in every single blood vessel. My body no longer explodes due to the effects of foolish old man moves mountain. The durability of my physical body has soared to its very limits. In this state, I swing my sword at Yuan Li. Transcending peaks. A simple horizontal slash. Yuan Li deploys a defensive spell. Had it been Kim Young-hoon's surpassing radiant saber in this realm, it would have sliced through the space itself and cut Yuan Li. But I am slightly different. S.H. Wong. The formless sword, having reached a new realm, permeates through Yuan Li's shield, only cutting his body behind the shield. Huh? Yuan Li, with a dazed expression, looks at his body. Pugwag. Clearly, his defensive spell should have blocked it, but he looks on with a lack of understanding of why he was cut without any sign of the shield breaking. Chiruruk. His body begins to regenerate again. However, whom? I slice his body again. Whom. It's useless to deploy a shield. Again and again, as many times as needed. Without any resistance, permeating all his defenses and attacks. My formless sword incessantly slices his body. Not just freedom and trajectory, but also in the material and immaterial. When he looks at me with an expression of incomprehension, I deliver the final blow. Treading heaven beyond the path, formless sword. The formless sword permeates all defenses and attacks, aiming directly at his golden core, at the nascent soul within. Translator notes, LETSGOOO. // Discord https://dsc gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord. Chapter 128. What you trampled on the path you have tread 16. Translating novice. The source of his cultivated power. Golden core. Even if his physical body can be reborn through his unique devilish arts. The split golden core, the root of cultivation, can only be regenerated by feeding it a massive blood cloud containing life force. And so my formless sword permeates through Yuan Li's shield. Passing through his body, it directly cuts his golden core. At first, he has a look of incomprehension. The very next moment, he realizes what just happened. And then the moment after, his face contorts grotesquely like a fierce evil ghost. Once more I swing my formless sword. Swoosh. This time, my formless sword even permeates the golden core and slices through Yuan Li's nascent soul. And then, he starts screaming a wail unheard of in this world. Pazig. No matter what kind of dharma treasure or technique raises one's realm by a whole level. A cultivator with a damaged nascent soul and a split golden core. Even if they raise their cultivation from chi building great perfection, it's at most the early stage of core formation. When I again cut his meridians, his spiritual power starts to leak. With the golden core broken, even his devilish arts are reaching their limits. His regenerative power weakens. His realm falls once more. Shi'ia. No longer at the early stage of core formation, but at the level of chi building. He screams madly. Huff. I take a breath, regulating my breathing. My body should have long died due to the effects of foolish old man moves mountains. But having reached the realm of treading heaven beyond the path, the formless sword, which has become one with my body, is forcibly clinging to a life that should have died. All my meridians are severed, and my golden core is trembling as if it will shatter. The moment I recollect the formless sword flowing through my meridians and return it to consciousness, my body will collapse. I look at Yuan Li. Finally, I caught him. Now he's like a dog on the ground, clutching the serving command seal and sobbing. Why? I am favored by the heavens, why? I approach him with an expressionless face. It can't be. There must be something wrong with the serving command seal. He starts to crawl away from me in terror. But he suddenly realizes that there is nowhere to run. His cultivation has already fallen to chi building. Even that due to the functionality of his Black Castle Dharma treasure. If he flees from here, his cultivation will fall even more miserably. Yuan Li looks at me. I'll tell you the secret of the castle, just stop for a moment. I approach him. Wait, don't come closer. If you don't want to know the secret of the castle, how about the blood demon suppressing sea light? I'll even tell you the refinement methods for blood chain, restricting forest and bloodwood ghost corpses. Step. That's right, there are still spirit stones and elixirs left in the underground of the castle. I'll give them all to you. Step. Anything you want, just tell me. I'll give you everything. Join hands with me and let's enjoy a world where heavenly beings have ascended. With every step I take, he takes a step back. I'll reveal the hidden story of the serving command seal. Calm down, just tell me what you want. What you want. And then I finally reach him. I kick his leg out from under him. Thud. Qog. With my kick imbued with the formless sword, both of his legs are cleanly severed. He falls to the ground, screaming. Ahog, are you planning on torturing me? He forces a smile and looks up at me. Chuaruk chuaruk. That cockroach-like regeneration. It hasn't completely disappeared yet, and is slowly regenerating his legs. KK, huh? It's useless. You see, I won't die just from my body exploding. Didn't I tell you? I survived even after taking Cohreal's 3 moves. This level of pain is nothing if I just use the sensation-blocking technique recorded in Blood Demon Suppressing Sea Light. Wung. I clench the void. In my hand, a translucent red banner appears. 5 Elements Blood Curse Banner. A banner of pain, used for placing restrictions or torturing an opponent. Seeing the 5 Elements Blood Curse Banner, Yuan Li sneers. I don't know how you learned the 5 Elements Blood Curse Banner, but you do know, right? I've also mastered the 5 Elements Blood Curse Banner. If you're planning to torture me or place restrictions on me with it's not a good idea. I'm not affected by the Blood Curse Banners. How about we stop this meaningless conversation and talk about something else? Zhuang. The 5 Elements Blood Curse Banner in my hand begins to be imbued with the Yin Soul Ghost incantation. Tiny curse spells contaminate the 5 Elements Blood Curse Banner. After a while, the 5 Elements Blood Curse Banner morphs into a flag of utter darkness, instead of one dyed in shades of blood. I created an entirely new technique by merging the curse spells from the Yin Soul Ghost incantation, which govern pain, with aspects of the spell that control agony within the 5 Elements Blood Curse Banner. This is possible because of my extreme proficiency in understanding pain through the Yin Soul Ghost incantation. Black Ghost Curse Banner. I name the newly created flag. Looking down at the flustered Yuan Li, whose legs have just regenerated, I stab the Black Ghost Curse Banner directly into one of his legs. Though, Yuan Li can't even scream properly. His face instantly turns as pale as a white snow. His claims about being able to block pain means nothing. The pain inflicted by my curse spells surpasses his understanding. I summon another Black Ghost Curse Banner. The 5 Elements Blood Curse Banner doesn't work, but how about this one? The way what? You look like you're satisfied. Thud. I plant the Black Ghost Curse Banner into his other leg. Both legs are pinned down by the Black Ghost Curse Banners, immobilizing him. Yuan Li falls to the ground, foaming at his mouth, writhing in pain. Don't worry, I'll just plant a few more and then finish you off. Wriggle. Yuan Li, with his eyes rolled back and foam bubbling, looks at me. Then, puff. He forms a seal with his hands and explodes his own legs, using the force of the explosion to get away. But he doesn't get far. Just a few steps. It's a ridiculous situation, but I don't feel like laughing. I told you not to worry too much. I'll just plant a few more Black Ghost Curse Banners and won't torture you severely. With an expressionless face, I walk towards him, holding a black flag in one hand. Yuan Li, with both legs severed, tries desperately to crawl away from me. It seems his pure spiritual force is almost depleted, as his regeneration is slower than before. It'll just crush your remaining golden core, pull out your limbs and throw them to the east, west, north, and south, and tear apart the rest of your body. Wiggle, wiggle. He struggles to crawl away from me. I'll just scatter the remaining pieces of your nascent soul and leave behind your head. Don't worry, I won't torture you more than I said I will. Wiggle, wiggle. With both hands, I hold up the Black Ghost Curse Banner and approach him. Pugwag. I plant the Black Ghost Curse Banner into his thigh. Next, I embed black flags all over his lower body, to prevent him from escaping any further. His split golden core, where could it be? I begin searching for the location of his golden core, with the intention to plant the Black Ghost Curse Banner. He begs, "SP, spare me, please spare me. I'll tell you everything about the Bloodwood method. You can even enslave me. Blood demon suppressing sea light, blood chain binding forest, everything related to the castle, the serving command seal. I'll tell you everything. Even if you torture, please spare me. You just don't kill me, I'll do anything. How about this? He fumbles with his black mask, half remaining on his face. His body shape starts to change slightly. And when he takes his hand away from his face, he's transformed into a beautiful woman. Yuan Li's voice becomes frail. This blood body can switch between male and female. I can serve you in either form. Please just let me serve you. Do as you wish. Please just spare me. Any kind of beauty is possible. Do you prefer mature ones or a bit younger? Please just let me serve you. I want to live. With an expressionless face, I approach him, grab his hair and mutter. I'm not interested in beauty, birthed from shredded human lives. Please, how about this? Wriggle. He starts to change into a familiar face. If you can't forget the woman who was with you then, I can serve you in that face too. I let go of his hair and stood up. And before he completely transforms into her face, I kicked his upper body as is. Pugwag. His upper body bursts open. Squelch, squelch. He squeezes out his last regenerative power, slowly regenerating his upper body. Looking down at him, regenerating his face, I speak disdainfully. Shut your mouth. If you open that disgusting mouth one more time, I'll tear out your jaw. Wriggle, wriggle. Realizing I meant it, he changes his face. Face without eyes, nose, mouth, or ears. A complete no face. That is Yuan Li's true face. Neither male, female, nor even human. Just a filthy devil, the essence of Yuan Li. Don't worry, as I said I won't torture you, I am. Expressionlessly looking at his faceless face, I continue. I'm trying to give you a blessing right now. Pugwag, pugwag. I pin down both of his arms with the black ghost curse banner and slowly speak. Being able to conclude life is a great blessing. Right now, I'm about to give you such an overly generous blessing. He looks to have something to say, but due to my threat of tearing out his jaw, he just writhes his face without opening his mouth. You two must have had a hard time getting here. I'll let you forget everything, let you lay down everything and rest. Thud. It's when I fully embed the last black ghost curse banner into the location of his crumbling dantian. Siararak. Only a mouth appears on his no-face. Yuan Li screams as if in agony. How is that a blessing? Stop talking nonsense, I want to live. I don't want to die, I don't want to die. Silently, I begin to tear off his limbs one by one. Yet even as his limbs are being torn off, he screams in a voice filled with terror. Please just torture me instead. No, please torture me, spare me. Even if you torture me and violate me, just spare me, just spare me. Why must I die? Of course I want to torture you too, but... I look up at the sky, expressionlessly, and continue. Right now, at this very moment, even if it's just a second earlier, how many resentful souls yearning for your death might there be? The countless ones who died in bitterness because of you. They must be eagerly waiting for you in the netherworld. So I can't delay any longer. I tear off his arms and throw them to the south and north. I don't want to die, Hua. There's nothing after death, I tell you, it's just the end. Death is a blessing. Then what about everything I've done until now? Weren't those giving blessings to the many? Speak up, you lunatic. If death is a blessing, what kind of curse is life? What kind of dog shit is that? What's the criteria for the blessings and curses you speak of? I tear off his legs and throw them to the east and west. What's the difference between a blessing and a curse? According to you, I've only given blessings. Why am I being punished as if I've been spreading curses everywhere? Don't make me laugh. You just want revenge against me. Chirag, chirag, chirag. I begin to tear his body apart bit by bit. Don't talk lunacy about killing me as an act of mercy. Please, please spare me. No, I'm sorry. As his body gradually vanishes, his fear intensifies. Yuan Li screams even louder. I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. It's all my fault. Please spare me. Please don't do this. Stop, please stop. And finally, Chirag. His body is completely torn apart. A live out. His nearly disintegrated, scattered, nascent soul emerges, frantically trying to escape. I reach out my hand. Slash. The formless sword slices Yuan Li's nascent soul directly. Fizz. His nascent soul scatters completely. I pick up Yuan Li's head. Faceless, with only a screaming mouth. I wrap his grotesque and bizarre head in the red cloak he had been wearing. Step, step. Slowly I walk out, pushing aside the debris. Cultivator CEO. Beyond the debris, I see core formation cultivators tending to their wounds. I show them the cloak containing Yuan Li's head. Relief appears in their eyes. Finally, that old monster. Chengmen Yongjin's face shows a mix of emotion. Relief, accomplishment, vengeance, regret. Feelings I can't describe. None of the core formation cultivators are unscathed. All of them are either maimed or severely injured. For now, Cultivator CEO, it seems we can't immediately return to our clans, and we will probably need a few weeks to recover our strength here. Chengmen Yongjin speaks to me. For those from the traitor factions, including Makli Hwangshan, the surviving northern and eastern cultivators, and Byok Chenggi. Currently, they are subdued and bound by the ghost summoned by Seo Ran. Physically, his condition is the best among them. But emotionally, tears fall. Seo Ran is amidst the wreckage of the Nether crossing ship. Holding tightly to the helm that Song Jin had clutched until the end, he silently cries with a soulless expression. I do not offer empty consolations to someone who has lost a loved one. I just stand beside him, silently mourning Song Jin with him for a long time. Drip, drip. How many tears has he shed? Seo Ran staggers to his feet. Even when he was alive, it sounds funny to say when he was alive, but when he was still with us, my master always said that we must part one day. I never thought that day would be today. It's so sudden. But if my master saw me like this, he would scold me and tell me to get up right away. Wiping his tears, Seo Ran slowly gets up. It will be hard, but I will continue to practice the methods my master taught me, and someday, when I surpass him, I will ask the Sea Dragon King about everything. He is stronger than me. His eyes are filled with determination. But I can see the sorrow behind his resolve. My condition is the best, so I'll take you where you need to be, for senior right now. Taoist Seo. I place my hand on Seo Ran's shoulder. You don't have to overdo it. You can mourn for Song Jin. Silent for a moment, Seo Ran turns his head and covers his eyes with one hand. I'm sorry. As you said, I think I need to stay here for a few more days. All right. I pat Seo Ran's shoulder. Then I look up at the serving command palace still floating in the sky. Swoosh. I muster all my remaining strength and leap towards serving command palace. It's still floating in the sky, powered by some unknown force. More so, it is slowly. It is slowly restoring itself. I look at this strange palace for a moment and then search through its ruins. After a while, I find the body of Byok Munseong. I collect his remains and bring them down to the ground. I hand Byok Munseong's remains to Chengmen Yongjin. Please take good care of him. All right. Chengmen Yongjin and the remaining core formation cultivators are also collecting the remains of the fallen. I place a shard of glass in Byok Munseong's pocket. Just then, Cultivator CEO, one of the 6 clans of Shengzi, the head of the Jung clan, approaches me cautiously. Cultivator CEO, you killed the old monster, right? That's right. From what we've confirmed while exploring, there are enormous amounts of spiritual medicine, spirit stones, dharma treasures, and wealth accumulated in the underground of the old monster's castle. It seems only right that Cultivator CEO, who played the biggest role in hunting the old monster, should have the first choice. I reply expressionlessly. I don't need it. The faces of the core formation cultivators who have gathered around me brighten. Then maybe. The head of the Jung clan asks me tentatively. He points at the torn pieces of Yuan Li's body. Are you not interested in the remains of this nascent soul cultivator? Consuming those remains as an elixir would have tremendous effects, and just researching the body of a nascent soul cultivator could greatly aid in reaching the nascent soul stage. Perhaps you're not interested in that either. I nod expressionlessly. I only need Yuan Li's head. I don't need anything else. I see. The head is indeed your contribution, Cultivator CEO. You may take it as you wish. Haha then. May we take the old monster's body? They ask, looking at me for confirmation, and I nod. Upon my approval, they rush towards Yuan Li's body like a pack of wild hyenas. After throwing Yuan Li's body to them like a bone, I start walking through the desert towards Chinsik City. HUD. It's burning. My remaining spiritual power is almost depleted. My golden core and meridians. If I release the formless sword, I will collapse immediately. Step, step. I limp through the desert. Tayet. Sometimes when I feel a burst of strength, I fly hundreds of jang. 1 jang equals 3.03 meters, with the power of the formless sword. When my strength depletes, I fall back to the ground and continue walking through the desert. I could have asked Seo Ran for help to reach Jinseek City quickly, but I can't take away his time of mourning. Carrying the colorless glass sword at my waist and Yuan Li's head in one hand, I head towards Jinseek City. It is far and vast. I stagger under the hot desert sun. Thud. To prevent myself from falling, I summon a black ghost curse banner and plant it in the ground. Ironically, the power of the Yin Soul Ghost incantation is surging greatly. However, due to the nature of Yin Soul Ghost incantation, it's of no help in healing. Even if converted into energy, its unique humid toxic energy remains, rendering it unhelpful for my current condition. Furthermore, I have no thoughts on living longer. Creating more cursed dolls to transfer injuries isn't an option. In essence, I am already on the brink of death, merely clinging on forcefully through the realm of treading heaven beyond the path. Even the core formation's flying escape technique is not an option. The technique relies on the power of the golden core, and any further shock to my golden core, whether I hold on with the formless sword or not, seems likely to shatter it completely. Well, it serves as a walking stick. Thud. I summon the black ghost curse banner and plant it in the ground, laboriously taking each step and pondering. Looking back, several black flags flutter in the desert, marking the path I have tread. Originally, both the curses and the blood banner are spells that would disappear on their own if left alone. While the blood banner can become permanent if planted in the upper dantian, if left outside, it will naturally disappear. But my profound pain, this overwhelming agony, has kept the black ghost curse banners present even after a long time. How long will they last? Perhaps they won't disappear until after my death. I look back at the black flags for a moment, then summon another black ghost curse banner, struggling to step forward. As a bit of energy returns, I repeat the process of flying with the power of the formless sword, then walking with the black ghost curse banner when my strength wanes. How long has it been? A month now. I feel half insane. Somehow, this journey feels harder than my fight with Yuan Li. The scorching sun. The parched mouth. My body screaming in pain. The faint hope of a comfortable death if I just release the formless sword. And above all, the most painful thing is loneliness. Alone in the desert, slowly making my way to Jinseek City, I'm engulfed in an almost madness-inducing pain. Thud. I plant another black ghost curse banner in the ground. Lately, the curse banner has begun to change. What was once a flag now hangs like a large lump or bulge. It looks more grotesque than before, and its appearance alone exudes some kind of malice. Thud. With this grotesque, increasingly bizarre lump-laden stick, I continue forward, each step filled with pain. Miss Hyung Hwa. Yes, definitely, this life wasn't meaningless. But while there is meaning, there is also pain. In this world full of pain, is living truly only good? Painful. This scorching desert feels like hell. I am walking towards death, marking the hellish journey with landmarks of pain. When will I arrive? Another month has passed. Step, step, thud. The stick I summon, once the black ghost curse banner, now bears a lump larger than a head. This lump is filled with malice, ready to spread a dark curse to anyone who dares touch it. Now, even if I die, it's doubtful whether this dense lump of malice will disappear. I don't know anymore. In a world already filled with agony, what difference will a few more bizarre lumps of malice make? Thud. I plant the lump-laden stick into the ground, supporting my body to keep from falling, and inhale deeply. Wowung. A bit of energy returns. I fly again with the formless sword. When I fly for a while, far away, I see something familiar. And then, thump. Eventually, unable to keep up my strength, I collapse right from the air. Is there any meaning in reaching that place? I just want to rest peacefully. Thud. I summon another stick and plant it in the ground. Still, let's go a little further. I definitely in front of them. I swore to offer this guy's head. Thump, thump, thump. How many times have I marked this milestone of pain, limping along. Before I know it, Chinseek City is getting closer. Blink. There. Just now, something seemed to have stood in front of me. Was it just my imagination? Wung. A sandstorm blows. Through the sandstorm, I see someone's footprints in front of me disappearing. Footprints. Someone had to be standing in front of me. Just then, Wung. A cold wind blows. They're far away. I see a dark cloud cover the sky in the direction of Chinseek City. The dark cloud spread around, and soon it rains everywhere. Swoosh. Rain is falling in the desert. I stand there dazed, open my mouth and drink the rainwater. Why is it raining? It's not the right season for rain. It's a sudden, unexpected rain shower. As I limp along, surely, on the grounds of Chinseek City, which should be in ruins, some white can be seen. Azalea. I, with a foolish expression, ignore the body-tearing pain and start to run to make sure. Azalea. I am at a loss for words. Aya. Thump, 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 thump. I ran through the desert. And finally, having reached Chinseek City, I look around with vacant eyes. Pale figures are waiting for me. All those who were massacred by Yuan Li, who died in Chinseek City. Buk Jung-ho and Ching-mun Ryong smile kindly at me through the rain. I silently gaze at them. And then slowly, I lay down Yuan Li's head. Tremble, tremble, tremble. With trembling hands, squeezing out my last strength, I attach a curse spell with yin fire to Yuan Li's head. The black yin fire burns Yuan Li's head fiercely, even amidst the rain. Finally, I have done it. Now can I rest peacefully? Then Ching-mun Ryong points somewhere. I hold on to my collapsing body. Ching-mun Ryong smiles faintly. As if mesmerized, I walk towards the place Ching-mun Ryong pointed. Towards Buk Hyang-Hwa's workshop. // Discord https://dsc.gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord. Chapter 129. What you trampled on the path you have tread, 17. Translating novice. With a dazed expression, I walk through the city. As I che. The sound of rain somehow feels pleasant to my ears. And at the end of the path in the rain stands the person I dreamed of. No, perhaps it's more accurate to say she is floating. Hyang Hwa. With my throat parched and voice dry, I call out to her. A whirlwind of thoughts storm through my mind. Hell! Suddenly, I feel a gaze and look to the side. There is no one there. It seems to have been an illusion. She smiles gently. How I became a wandering spirit waiting for Orboni. Surely back then. I still remember the moment when her spirit ascended to the heavens. Suddenly, she glances where I had looked and smiles at me again. But isn't there something more important? Right. One died and one survived. But our hearts are still connected. I immediately understand what she means. In Yondu City, I wanted to dance with Oriboni, but it seems we end up dancing here. Please wait just a moment. I will prepare immediately. I draw the colorless glass sword from my waist and pour all my strength into it, infusing it with spiritual power. Wung. The colorless glass swords were originally made as gravestone for the people living in Chinseek City. Following my will, 3,000 glass swords return to their respective graves. After that, I reach out my hand towards her. We smile at each other without words. As we have no fans, we mimic holding one and take our positions. There is no music, but we dance slowly to the symphony of the rain, matching each other's steps. Our fingertips brush each other, as neither of us hold a fan. I take 3 steps to the left, completing a circle. She moves just like me, circling around, and our fingertips brush again. The living and the deceased dance slowly through the raining graveyard, where glass swords are planted. Wung. The spectating souls slowly turn into orbs of light and ascend to the heavens one by one. Ching-mun Ryong, Buk Jung-ho, and countless friends and neighbors, excluding Kim Young-hoon, appear. As their souls disappear, the rain gradually stops, and the clouds in the sky begin to recede. Just like the festival back then, I bring my hand to her face. Without the veil, my fingertips lightly brush her face. Our fingertips touch again. The sky is purple. The sunset is fading, and the night sky is beginning to rise. We take 3 steps to the right, completing another circle. Our fingertips brush several times, and finally, we return to our original positions. Drip, drip. Tears fall. Surprisingly, it's not the black tears I have shed for 200 years. For the first time in 200 years, I am crying clear tears. I look at HWA in a daze. I can't imagine living in a world without you. In the next life, perhaps for countless lives, I might just commit suicide without thinking. I just want to die. I want to kneel before the heavens, begging with my hands, pleading. Please, please kill me. Now I truly wish to die. If I die in this life, maybe I can meet her in the netherworld. But death beyond this life is not permitted for me. The moment I try to reach the netherworld, I will be sent to the next life. Just because I'm in front of her, I am barely holding back from weeping and begging. And then, she lightly presses my cheeks with both hands. You can't. Young HWA, a world without you is a curse, just being alive is a curse. Then were the moments we spent together also a curse. She smiled and asks. I tremble and shake my head. It wasn't. Then was everything I left behind also a curse and suffering. She points at the colorless glass swords and asks. I shake my head again. Then, she closes her eyes and brings her lips towards mine. She kisses me. I stand stunned, feeling her cold, surreal lips for a moment. After she pulls away, she asks, was what I just gave you also a curse? No, it wasn't. HWA embraces me. Whether I became a wandering spirit or someone opened the gates of the netherworld, I came here for one reason. Hearing her next words, I feel as if something that had been buried deep within my heart for 200 years is being cleansed and swept away. I love you. Not being able to say it directly was my lingering regret. I embrace her, releasing the words that have knotted in my heart. I love you too. The human heart is indeed peculiar. As I utter the pent-up words and read her feelings in the rosy hues of intent, I realized the hidden aspect of the yin soul ghost incantation. Perhaps a realm unknown even to its creator. No, rather, a realm I discovered by far surpassing the creator. Wowen. The black curse spells that have been attached all over my body begin to reverse. Even if a person's life is filled with pain and curses, if the hearts of people connect and understand each other, maybe that can be an endless blessing. The black curse spells reverse all at once, revealing what was hidden. In the ruins of the Black Castle, where Yuan Li had died, core formation cultivators still scavenged through the remains for the treasures Yuan Li had hidden. The nascent soul old monster's abode keeps yielding more treasures. We almost died, but it was worth it. But where did cultivator Seo Ran go? One of the cultivators looked for Seo Ran. I'm not sure. He flew off in a hurry somewhere. Maybe he found something. I wonder what treasure he found to make him fly off so madly with that usually empty expression. That is curious. Well, it doesn't matter. We've gathered enough for ourselves anyway. While they were rummaging through Yuan Li's residence, one of them sensed something unusual. Wait, what's that? The black ghost curse banner used by Seo Yunhyan to immobilize Yuan Li's body. From the black ghost curse banner, a brilliant white light begins to emanate. The sticks with black lumps that Seo Yunhyan planted and left behind in the desert. The lumps on those sticks began to shine white brightly. And then, boom, the lumps burst open, flowering like buds. The blooming flowers are covered in pure white, each with 6 petals. Boom, boom, boom. Following the path Seo Yunhyan had walked, hundreds of white magnolias began to sprout in the desert. Boom. I laugh, watching the white spells bloom from my body. The white blessings appearing all around seem to have the opposite properties of the curse spells. Look at that, you're alive, and even created a new method. It's just the yin soul ghost incantation, expressed with the feelings I share with you. But it's completely different. We chat and laugh together. It's my first laugh in 200 years, but strangely, it doesn't feel awkward at all. If I may suggest, as a fellow co-creator, may I name this method? Feel free to do so. She reaches out towards the floating blessings, which seem to be transforming into the shape of white magnolias. How about white orchid blessing incantation? Is that all right? I support her hand with mine beneath it. I will remember it. We watch the blessings float into the sky for a while, and then our eyes meet. Her soul is becoming increasingly transparent, rising into the air. I won't forget either. Yes. I can't control my trembling voice. Suddenly, I open my storage artifact. I remember reading about it in Seal Rand's library. The immortals of the higher realms, when they form a union, do this. I take out the remaining bottle of white red wine. Will it be all right? As she floats higher, she nods. I rummage through my storage artifact. There are no cups. I have no choice but to pour half of the white red wine in front of her grave as a substitute. Then I drink the remaining half in front of her. Well, as the white red wine enters my nearly shattered golden core, its effects activate, reconnecting me with my Dharma treasures. Well, the 3,000 colorless glass swords planted around begin vibrating. And then, as her soul turns into a small orb of light, losing its form and ascending to the sky, the orb of light spins around in the air. It's as if she's dancing the twin immortals dance with someone again. Perhaps she's unconsciously recalling the memories of those days when she was alive, those happy moments, and their dance movements. I watch the sky endlessly, then slowly sit down. My strength is now fading away. I take her norigi from my waist. With the last of my strength, I heat her heirloom with Dan fire, transforming it into a Dharma treasure. I close my eyes and hold the norigi deeply to my heart. Whether it's the lingering effects of the white red wine or the norigi itself, I feel a strong connection forming. My strength begins to ebb away. Yuan Li's last desperate cry echoes in my mind. What is the difference between a blessing and a curse? Maybe the difference between blessings and curses isn't life and death. Perhaps if the hearts of people connect, that is a blessing. And if the hearts are severed, that is a curse. This life has been hell. But at the end of this hell, I connected my heart. Maybe hell and heaven, curses and blessings, are determined by the connection between people's hearts. With this realization, I escape from the last cry of Yuan Li. I loved you, thank you for sharing your heart with me. With a faint smile, all energy drains completely from my body. My meridians and golden core, which should have collapsed long ago, begin to lose their strength. Thus at the edge of hell, I close my eyes in heaven. Well, as Xiao Yunhaiyan closed his eyes, the colorless glass swords scattered around started to rise into the air. The swords, now strongly connected to their owner, begin to return to his body one by one. The 3,000 colorless glass swords, returning to the golden core of the smiling past Xiao Yunhaiyan, begin to impale his body one by one. Suddenly, Xiao Yunhaiyan's norigi and the 3,000 colorless glass swords simultaneously emit a bright light. The mother of Buk Hyang'ish Wa, the wife of Buk Jungho, Yon's tomb. There are two trees that have grown near the magnolia tree at the tomb. The two trees, which somehow grew for over 200 years, bloom their flowers on the same day. A quince tree and a white magnolia. From each of the two trees, a flower falls. The flowers of the two trees land on the altar prepared for a wedding ceremony 200 years ago. And then, whoosh, a gust of wind from inside the tomb carries the quince flower away from the altar, somewhere into the desert. The white magnolia remains in place, while the quince flower flies off to the unknown. This is Xiao Yunhaiyan's 11th return. Translator notes, there you have it. Honestly, I probably overdid it with the mass release considering the length of the chapters, almost 25,000 words, but I felt that reading it all at once is the best experience. With that said, I hope you all enjoyed and I am gonna take a day or two off. See ya. // Discord https://dsc.gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord. Chapter 130, 11th Cycle's First Day. Translating Novice. Blink. I slowly opened my eyes. This death was more peaceful than any before. And at the same time, the most painful one. Drip. Tears fall, but I wipe them away and regain my composure. At the end of my life, I fully felt her heart. She wished that I would not die but live. She hoped that I would no longer be sad. Going forward, it will be impossible not to feel sadness in life. But let's not torment myself to the point of collapse. Because she would be sad. With that resolution, I form a hand seal. The domain of consciousness vibrates, putting to rest my colleagues attempting to awaken. A familiar headache resounds in my head. Well, I suppress my consciousness right away through the 5 elements blood curse banner within my upper dantian. No need for hastily splitting my consciousness or eating yellow bamboo root. It's quite convenient. And then, stab. I stagger, clutching my stomach. What's this now? After the headache, it's now the stomach. In incomprehension, I clutch my stomach, gritting my teeth. My stomach, or more precisely my dantian, started hurting as if it's being torn apart. Why again? After gritting my teeth, I decided to first look for yellow bamboo roots. Shortly after, I consumed a bamboo root and quickly underwent complete transformation, rapidly forming my inner core. Only after forming my inner core did I feel the pain near my dantian subside. What exactly is this? Just when I am wondering, I suddenly feel something near my inner core. This is. My eyes widen at the familiar energy I feel from my inner core. This is. I hurriedly expel gang chi from my inner core, refine it into pure spiritual force in a rough manner, and form a hand seal. Chalalalik. And then, flash. Around me, 3,000 familiar objects reveal themselves. The Dharma treasure, the colorless glass sword. The Dharma treasure made for me by Hyung Hwa had followed me through time. Then, poof, after the colorless glass swords appeared, a brightly colored norigi also popped out. I stare blankly at the sight and wipe my eyes with shaking hands. I just resolved not to shed too many tears. Yet here I am, crying shamefully again. With a trembling voice I murmur, "It's been passed down. The connections between us. Transcending time, they returned with me. The time I spent with her. The moments we shared together. Those entire memories did not completely disappear. For the first time, I gained a companion that will travel through this endless time with me." After spending enough time watching the colorless glass swords and collecting my thoughts, I pondered. How did they follow me? This is an important issue. Is it because I refined them into a natal Dharma treasure that allowed them to follow me? Or is there something more to it? And if there is something more, what can it be? After pondering for a while, I come up with one theory. White red wine. I recall the ability of the immortal liquor called white red wine. It certainly has the power to strengthen the connection with Dharma treasures. And thinking about it further, when I first drank white red wine, it was a critical situation, so I couldn't recall it well, but certainly. It felt like my soul itself was connected to the Dharma treasure. It was more than just enhancing the connection. It was clear. Through white red wine, my soul and the Dharma treasures were connected in an instant. As a result, as my soul traveled back in time, did the Dharma treasures follow me as well? That is the only explanation. To say that only natal Dharma treasures can follow me seems insufficient, considering that Buk Hyung Hwa's norigi was only turned into a Dharma treasure at the very last moment with Dan Fire. Did white red wine assist the Dharma treasure in following my regression? There seems to be no other possibilities. Then, first of all in this life, let's get white red wine again and test it. And maybe if possible, not just Dharma treasures, if it's possible to regress with others' souls as well. If that's to be the case, it will be an incredible discovery. Yes, later, I'll go back to serving Command Palace and get white red wine to test. Having organized my thoughts, I stand up. And shall I try to reproduce the enlightenment from my last life? Wu-wung. I concentrate my mind and raise the gang spheres. A total of 9 gang spheres. No, including the inner core. 10 gang spheres. Wu-wung. The gang spheres in the air melt into the consciousness domain, and the gang sphere in the dantian melts down and connects with the formless sword outside the body. Then the formless sword connected with the inner core within my body begins to pervade various parts of my body. Once again, that familiar feeling takes over my whole body. The feeling of the formless sword inhabiting each and every muscle fiber and blood vessel. It's as if I have become a chi-building cultivator, isn't it? Chi-building cultivators have gang chi flowing in their meridians. Just like in this realm, a martial artist has the enlightenment of beyond the path to heaven flowing in their entire body. And that means, perhaps from treading heaven beyond the path, martial artists can also increase their lifespan. I can't confirm my lifespan yet, as I have not performed the chi refining 7 stars ritual, but I have a feeling that this is the case. For now, I decide to explore a bit more about what I gained by entering treading heaven beyond the path. Just then, Gia-ra-ra-ra-ra, a familiar figure appears. That's right, I knew you would show up. I exchange the familiar question and answer with the fox again. The fox, insistent on devouring me 3 times over, makes me sigh slightly. If that's the case, let me test the capability of the treading heaven realm on you. And then, Kwang, I rush towards the fox and kick it. Kieko. The fox screams and is flung away. The first ability of treading heaven beyond the path. Since my body has completely synchronized with the formless sword, any part of my body used for attack leaves the same trace as if I used the formless sword. After the first attack and realizing the difference between us, the fox looks defeated, but I don't care and rush towards it again. Kwang. Although my body has completely synchronized with the formless sword, it's still very much possible to wield it as I originally did. The fox, after being hit for the second time, shows a significant droop in its tail. The second ability of treading heaven. The basic offensive and defensive capabilities have improved significantly, whether it's because I am using all 10 gang spheres or because it is directly connected to my life force. The limit of power I can draw from the formless sword seems to have increased. Additionally, I had to always hold the formless sword to accelerate, but now that I am one with the formless sword, acceleration is possible just by existing. The acceleration itself is far faster than a simple 10x speed. Kwang. As I quickly charge and strike the fox, it seems to realize it can't fully respond to me anymore and looks at me with fearful eyes. It gauges the distance between us and then, compressing its consciousness around its body, flees even faster. The third ability of treading heaven beyond the path. In the past, when I only held the formless sword, I mainly flew through the air using void steps. Because I couldn't use the flying escape technique like core formation cultivators, long-distance flying was difficult, and chasing after them using void steps had its limits. But now, being completely one with the formless sword, I can fly through the air swiftly, much like using the flying escape technique. Swoosh bang! I chase after the fleeing fox. Transforming myself into the formless sword, I impale it. The impact is so significant that it quakes the earth, given the fox's size. The fox tries to resist, but I extend my hand towards its chest. Wu-wung. The last ability of treading heaven beyond the path. As I walk, my hand touches the vicinity of the fox's chest, and its body stiffens. At first glance, it looks like I am merely touching the fox's chest. In reality, the formless sword extended from my hand and passed through the fox's hide and flesh, reaching its demon core and making its presence known. If the first to third abilities correspond to the understanding of all gang spheres are one, and martial arts and I are one entity, as told by Young-hoon Hyung-nim. The last ability is my point of differentiation. Young-hoon Hyung-nim cut through space. And I, who had mimicked Kim Young-hoon's surpassing radiant saber, also succeeded in cutting through space, albeit momentarily. Therefore, the power attained when reaching treading heaven beyond the path with the surpassing radiant saber seems to be cutting space or space escape. It's likely due to the difference in what he and I are pursuing. He wants to surpass light, and I want to escape everything. Hence, if the surpassing radiant saber transcends space, it truly surpasses light, and if the formless sword can selectively cut through anything, it truly escapes all limits. PL, please forgive me. The fox, trembling all over, pleads to me. What should I do? Right now, I can use the formless sword infiltrated into the fox's body to extract its demon core immediately. In fact, the few times I wrestled with this fox were just to test the capabilities of the treading heaven realm. From the beginning, I could have extracted the fox's demon core in less than a second. I ponder the fox's fate for a moment, and then remove my hand from its chest. It's all right, I forgive you. Thank you, thank you. The fox bows its head in gratitude, and then dashes away over the mountains. I still harbor some resentment towards the fox. Though in my last life, having suffered such immense pain, the anguish inflicted by the fox had largely faded from my memory. And once is enough to teach it a lesson. I smirk. It feels like only yesterday that the fox had torn off my arm, but now I have grown strong enough to extract its demon core in a second without any effort. Of course, this is because I practiced for 400 years after reaching beyond the path to heaven. I slowly returned to my companions. Using a consciousness technique, I begin transferring the knowledge of the record of transcending cultivation and exhausting martial arts, and the enlightenments reaching treading heaven beyond the path to Kim Young-hoon. It'd be convenient to have a real memory transfer technique. I had been transmitting knowledge to Kim Young-hoon through consciousness all this time, but in truth, this is more of a formula transmission rather than a memory transmission. It's more about conveying organized information than transmitting actual memories. As I finish transferring everything to Kim Young-hoon. Step. There's one more ability to treading heaven beyond the path. The awaited one is approaching from behind. Sensitivity has become even sharper, detecting the approach of the fox demon, and the flow of intent was clearer and more detailed than before. In the past, I might not have noticed his approach. But now, at this level, it seems permissible to notice. I stand up and bow respectfully. This cultivator junior, Seo Yun-hyun, greets senior Mad Lord Jo Yeon, who, watching you fight with the fox was interesting. The reason I had a noisy fight with the demon fox, creating a lot of commotion when I could have ended it in 1 second, was for one reason. To attract the Mad Lord. You're a strange one indeed. You're not a nascent soul cultivator, but how can you play with a mid-core formation fox as if it's a toy doll? Moreover, is that some kind of body refining technique? Your consciousness seems to be enveloping your physical body. Fascinating, truly fascinating. I'm humbled to show such a trivial skill before a senior who has lived through countless years. How curious. I don't sense any spiritual power from you. The Mad Lord fails to perceive my inner core this time. Of course, that is to be expected. After reaching treading heaven beyond the path, my inner core has completely dissolved into the formless sword. Looking at the Mad Lord, I begin to speak. Senior, do you know the story of a man and a woman? In the mountainous regions of Shangzi, there's a story passed down about two immortals. Those who were saved by their righteousness created a memorial festival to honor their deeds. Startled, I shiver under the Mad Lord's gaze. He looks at me. His wide, flickering eyes tells me to continue. Wrongly speaking to the Mad Lord can lead to being captured alive and being turned into his puppet. But the story I am about to tell is my own. Long ago in the mountainous regions of Shangzi, I fell in love with someone. Thus, I recount my story to the Mad Lord, omitting the parts regarding regression. And so, I embraced the remains of my beloved and swore, I will tear apart the limbs of that man, scatter them in the 4 directions, shred his body and feed it to dogs, and then offer his head at the memorial of my beloved. The Mad Lord continues to look at me with those shimmering eyes. To an outsider, it'd be unclear whether he is listening to the story or glaring at me. But I can tell from his intent. It worked. The Mad Lord speaks. What was that man's name? Bloodwood practitioner Yuan Li. He is located in the heaven-treading desert along these coordinates. Living in a black castle, he is a nascent soul cultivator hiding his true power. Is that so? Chu. Suddenly, the hunchback old man starts biting and chewing his fingers, saliva dripping from his chin. The Mad Lord in this state meets my gaze with sparkling eyes. Lead the way. 11th cycle's first day. What was supposed to be a story to perhaps gain some help from the Mad Lord regarding a distant curse, set forth a journey with the Mad Lord to Yuan Li's castle. Translator notes, test new martial arts realm check, screw over Yuan Li check. / ********. Discord https://dsc.gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord. Chapter 131, Mad Lord's Grasp 1. Translating novice. Whoosh. Suddenly, as I regain consciousness, I find myself alongside the Mad Lord, having reached the front of Yuan Li's castle. It feels too anticlimactic. Thinking back to Song Jin's strength. The Mad Lord, who beheaded Song Jin, could shatter Yuan Li along with his castle with just a swing of his hand. Is he inside there? Yes, that's right. Good, there's a massive amount of resentful souls under the castle. Your words weren't baseless. Mad Lord murmurs, chewing on his finger, then starts rummaging through his storage artifact. And then, flash, Mad Lord pulls something out of his storage artifact. It's a small stone doll. A small statue resembling a stone guardian. And when the Mad Lord throws that statue towards the Black Castle, Woven. The statue grows larger and larger, expanding and increasing in size. The statue becomes as large as a mountain range and falls onto the small black castle. Queuing. It sounds as if heaven and earth are colliding. The defensive barrier of the black castle seems to activate but instantly shatters, and the statue continues to fall, crushing the black castle. Rumble. Starting from the top, the castle begins to crumble under the statue. Then familiar clouds of blood emerge, trying to block the statue. Senior, whoever you may be, how can you torment a junior who can't even participate in the ascension? With gleaming eyes, Mad Lord speaks. Don't worry, I'll accept you into my world and rebirth you into a fine new being. You'll make a fine piece. At those words, Yuan Li screams in terror. This Mad Lord, this lunatic. I'm not a lunatic, I'm an artist, she told me so, I'm an artist. Mad Lord speaks while chewing on his finger, and Yuan Li, realizing the futility of communication, desperately summons blood clouds to block the statue. Just then, kagagagugu. From a distance, a blue radiance is hurtling towards us like a crazy river winding through the sky, revealing a majestic being. It's Cohreal, the Sea Dragon King. Old man Mad Lord, why are you oppressing a young junior during such an auspicious time? Swoosh. Cohreal, transforming into human form in front of me, and the Mad Lord smiles and raises his hand. Whoosh. Blue light swirls around his hand, and the statue the Mad Lord had thrown begins to slowly rise into the air. Yuan Li is seen relaxing below. Old man Mad Lord, if something displeased you, please don't do this during such a sacred time. And ignoring Cohreal's words, Mad Lord looks at me with gleaming eyes. I'll turn that worm-like beast into snake soup, so in the meantime, you take revenge for your her. Yes, thank you. Cohreal's gaze meets mine. Oh my, this fellow Taoist. You seem to have learned a unique method. It's better to resolve things through dialogue, not fighting. Then the Mad Lord, with still gleaming eyes, takes out a box as big as himself from his storage device and flings open the lid. Shut up, you blue worm. I'll brew snake liquor with you today and drink it with her. Oh my. Cohreal cringes and dodges, and something leaps out of the Mad Lord's box. After thanking the Mad Lord, I rush down below. Boom. It seems I'm back right away after making a mess last time. It's a strange feeling. I enter the interior of the Black Castle. There I see a familiar face. Yuan Li. Who are you, a friend of the Mad Lord? If so, could you please spare? I look around inside the Black Castle. The smell of blood is still strong. Kagagagugu. Above, cultivators at the heavenly being stage are fighting, causing tremendous shockwaves. Actually, you're not my enemy. What? Strictly speaking, this guy has not yet committed the massacre. So he is not my enemy yet. But, looking around and glaring at Yuan Li, the scent of blood wafting from everywhere, the wails of numerous resentful souls beneath the Black Castle, the long-source true power he has been gathering for hundreds of years. Considering everything, still, even if you're not my enemy, you seem like someone who deserves to die. What? I draw my colorless glass sword. Die. Crash. Before he can react, I charge at him. Ugh. It's a simple body slam, but it's enough to punch a hole in his stomach. This bastard. Yuan Li pulls out his pagodas and starts taking out other Dharma treasures. Then I swing the formless sword at him. Swoosh. Ignoring all his Dharma treasures and defensive spells, the formless sword cuts right through him. He looks at me bewildered, as if he can't comprehend what just happened. But without bothering to explain, I swing dozens of strikes at his body. Dice and slice. In an instant, he is shredded into a mist of blood. Die. Puguaguaguagua. The fox that continuously tore off my arm had planted a deep-seated anger in me. In my past life, facing the fox, I was furious and angry. However, my feelings towards Yuan Li, who killed her, are of hatred, and even more concentrated and sticky malice than anger. Because it's more condensed, my malice doesn't erupt as easily as with the fox. Swinging the formless sword, I continuously break through Yuan Li's defenses and dodge his attacks. Actually, there's no need to dodge. Slash. I just target the most crucial cores that serve as the link of the spells, letting all other parts pass through. Then, when I cut it down, the spell dismantles. What nonsense is this? What are you? Yuan Li in panic presses me even more. But I easily dodge his techniques. The speed at which I can accelerate has changed compared to before. Zip! After evading his attacks, I approach him and slash down with the formless sword. The formless sword, passing through the unnecessary, directly slices through Yuan Li's golden core. He shudders in pain. Wowung! He then forms hand seals and blood clouds flow and are absorbed into his body, beginning to regenerate his golden core. But keep regenerating. Dice and slice. As soon as the golden core regenerates, I swing the formless sword again, cutting it off. I'll cut you down again and again. Chirak chirarak. You won't even have time to search for your blood spirits scattered near the heaven-treading desert. At my words, he shudders and glares at me. How do you know about my blood spirits? There's no need to know. I simply reply and charge at him again. Fine. I'll treat you as a fellow nascent soul cultivator for now. Wowung. He summons his bizarre ghost beast and ghost kings. Suddenly, it becomes a 4-against-1 situation. But, strange. Why doesn't it feel burdensome at all? It isn't a matter of pure power or weight class. The enemy's intent is more vividly visible. Even if the area is covered with his consciousness, it's like I can clearly read Yuan Li's intent from within. Boom, 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 boom. The Blood Cloud Ghost Kings swing their scythe at me. From all 6 directions, the Ghost Kings strike surge at me. But I entrust myself to the flow of emptiness and dash towards one point. Boom! With the formless sword imbued throughout my body, I shatter the weakest part of the attacks and break through. The bizarre ghost beast rushes at me. It sweeps at me with its tail-like part. A hit that would surely reduce me to shreds. However, I don't feel like it will hit. I dodge the ghost beast's attack, and then dodge the attacks of the ghost kings from both sides. After that, Wowung! I throw the formless sword at Yuan Li, who is casting spells from afar. Yuan Li is shocked and tries to dodge, but slice! The formless sword changes its trajectory and pierces through Yuan Li's body. He screams silently again, injecting the life force he has gathered into the freshly divided golden core, trying to heal it. So that's it. Your attacks traverse planes, not just cutting what you want but adjusting the level of the plane. To nascent soul cultivators, there can be no attack more vicious than that. Yuan Li spits out some words. But I silently dodge the attacks of the ghost beast and ghost kings, approaching him. Truly, before he commits the massacre and collects the blood spirits, he is truly weak. Compared to him 200 years later, it's almost embarrassing to consider them the same person. I feel his utmost effort to stop me, but that's it. Wowing. He sends hidden spells at me. Not quite at the level of record of transcending cultivation and exhausting martial arts, but still difficult to perceive. However, using the strange sensation felt after reaching the treading heaven realm, I cut through his techniques and take another step towards him. Yuan Li flinches. Do you know nothing about planes? Are you not cutting knowingly but just instinctively? He trembles. You bastard, what are you? I'm asking what you are. Damn it, get away. Quang. I take steps towards him, one at a time. In terms of pure power, I am still weaker than him. However, the true power of the formless sword, gained through the abilities of the treading heaven realm, makes it easy to slice through his techniques. It's a simple strategy. Let the tough parts pass through and cut only the vital, weaker parts. No defense can stop it. No matter how much he tries to block, it's futile. Boom! Bang! My formless sword cuts through his vital parts again, and he spits blood while thrown backward. If you can't even grasp the concept of planes, you're not a nascent soul cultivator. But what is this ability to freely transcend planes? Let me ask you something. I approach him and ask, is life a blessing or a curse? What? He asks back, not understanding. Swoosh. I point my formless sword at him. Fighting with you, I'm gradually getting a feel for it. I've only been attacking your vital parts, but if I concentrate, I can cut through all physical defenses and directly target the most crucial essence. The soul. No matter how many times you regenerate, I can kill you. Yuan Li 200 years later, no. Yuan Li after the massacre is so much stronger in comparison. even if the Black Castle provides him with the power of an early nascent soul, due to his core formation grand perfection cultivation. It seems it only amplifies the power of his abilities, not actually creating a nascent soul. The difference between the present him and the him when he possesses a nascent soul is immense. Of course, it's not an exaggeration to say he was originally a nascent soul cultivator. He grits his teeth seeing my focus on the formless sword. You've raised your plane to the extreme. Haha, you can even cut through souls. First, answer my question. I look at Yuan Li expressionlessly. Is life a blessing or is it a curse? Heh, are you asking such an obvious thing? He chuckles. Obviously, it's a tremendous blessing. How big a blessing it is to have this body and breathe in this world, do you know? Life is a blessing, and death is the curse given to humans. Is that so? I wanted to ask the same to Yuan Li in my past life, but I was too blinded by rage to ask properly. Why are you asking such a thing? Do you think the opposite? I used to. What? He looks at me as if I am crazy. But I just smile. But now I'm sure it's neither. Yuan Li looks at me, not understanding at all. Neither life nor death are the criteria to determine a blessing or a curse, and, seeing you today, I'm sure, you're certainly not living a blessed life. What dog shit are you spouting? Dog shit, you say? I smirk. Even if I speak nonsense, isn't it your wish to live even a moment longer by letting me ramble on? His face behind the mask twists hideously. Now then, farewell. I don't wish to see you again. Wait, look here, calm down. First, can you at least explain why you're killing me? Someone I've never seen before suddenly comes to kill. I can't quite understand. Understand? I point to the source of the bloody stench emanating from the Black Castle. Did you seek understanding from those you've killed? When you trample others so miserably, shouldn't you know you can end up the same? Wait, listen. Right, we have no relations, right? You had no relations with them either. And no, don't do that. Ah, no, I don't want to die, please, I beg you. Do you know how precious it is to be alive? Please, please don't kill me. Someone who understands that shouldn't have stolen others' lives. I swing down my formless sword. No, well. Swoosh. My formless sword, cutting through his head, splits his soul. He dies, unable to even collect his blood spirits. Hiss. As Yuan Li dies, the black mask covering his face also crumbles. Yuan Li's face is a blank nothing. He claimed proudly that being alive is a blessing. But this monster, who devoured people and lost even his own face through synthetic bodies, who could he have truly connected with? What is life to someone who lived without a heart, so desperately clinging to it? I don't particularly want to know. I cut off Yuan Li's head and exit the Black Castle. Outside the castle are Mad Lord and Cohrial. Near Cohrial are the faces I had seen in my previous life, all surrounding the Mad Lord. Old man, Mad Lord, please calm down and listen to what I am saying. Shut up, you venomous snake, don't block my way. Old man. Then Cohrial's gaze suddenly turns towards me. I meet Cohrial's eyes, smiling faintly, and lift Yuan Li's head. Suddenly it's cold. Although Cohrial looks at me with a faint smile. It feels as if I am thrown naked into the depths of the sea, engulfed by the cold currents. How is it, Cohrial? Despite his unchanging expression, I read his intent and heart essence, feeling an unprecedented pleasure. Mad Lord begins to laugh crazily, seemingly reading Cohrial's ever-changing intent. Ha 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 ha, you ha 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 ha, what he did must really bothered you that much, huh? Right. What wicked plot were you cooking up this time, huh? Cohrial, who had been silently looking at me, speaks to the Mad Lord. It's nothing serious. Just seeing a promising junior among the humans, I, as a senior in the cultivation world, feel content regardless of race. I read Cohrial's intent, surprised to see he seemed to be genuinely resolving his feelings. Why? Wasn't Yuan Li important to him? While I am pondering, Wowung, Cohrial suddenly appears right in front of me. He just leaped through space. It wasn't about speed. I literally felt space opening up for a moment. Cohrial looks at me and smiles gently. Yuan Li, once a devil who killed one of the latter generations of the Sea Dragon tribe, was someone whom I personally admonished. However, it appears he could not rid himself of his vile nature and committed numerous massacres, It seems you have properly educated him. What can possibly be this man's intentions to speak to me as such? Coatrial grins at me. I shall take my leave. It seems old man, Mad Lord has taken an interest in you, so be careful. Old man Mad Lord turns those he finds interesting into living puppets in his own world. After patting my shoulder, Coatrial soars into the sky, disappearing into the blue twilight. The other heavenly being cultivators who had surrounded the Mad Lord also leave in the direction Coatrial has gone. Last time, because he used his powers in Ascension Path, many heavenly being cultivators detained him. But this time, there was no one to reprimand him, possibly because he used his powers in the heaven-treading desert. Haha, as for this castle. Mad Lord comes down to the Black Castle and starts inspecting it. A kind of immortal treasure. It contains the attraction of fate. Let's see. He tears apart a section of the castle. I found it. Is this the source of the attraction? I glance at the spot the Mad Lord demolished. There's something like a shining rock embedded there. While the Mad Lord is intrigued by it, I decided to leave the area. Coatrial may be hateful, but he's right. Mad Lord is truly mad, and staying near him can result in me being dissected or turned into a puppet without anyone knowing. I silently leave the Mad Lord's side and fly far away into the heaven-treading desert using the formless sword. Thus, on the first day of my return, I eliminated Yuan Li, the source of the heaven-treading desert massacre, and escaped from the Mad Lord. I thought all the problems of this life had been solved. Where are you going so quickly? Chill. Where's a puppet with wings resembling a wasp's, similar to a grotesque insect, is suddenly flapping next to me. The puppet, eerily resembling the Mad Lord, echoes his voice. Now that I think about it, I forgot to tell you. After hearing your story, I was so moved that I consulted with her. We agreed to help you with your revenge and welcome you into our world. Where? Don't worry, I intend to evolve you into a superior being. For now, just stay still for a moment. This is insane. I evade the Mad Lord's puppet that suddenly swings its saw blade at me. Why are you running? Why are you running? Why are you running? The Mad Lord's voice, full of incomprehension, echoes from the puppet. We're running. I'm offering to evolve you into something greater, yayu. The eyes of the puppet start glowing hot red. And then, if you resist, I have no choice. I'll capture you by force and make sure to definitely evolve you. Kagagugugu. The puppet exudes an aura equivalent to the early stage of nascent soul. But that isn't the real problem. Far off in the distance, on the horizon where I had escaped from. Right there, several puppets, similar or even stronger than the one beside me, are chasing after me. If I get caught, I'll be turned into a puppet. Feeling chills all over my body, I start frantically crossing the heaven-treading desert to escape the Mad Lord's grasp. Translator notes, donated chapter by Fatty Taoist. Thanks for the support. // Discord https://dsc gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord. Chapter 132, Mad Lord's Grasp 2. Translating novice. I bite my lip. First, the Mad Lord ascends in a few days. That means, if I can escape his grasp for just a few days, I can survive. Boom. Queuing. As the wasp-winged puppet opens its mouth, a massive explosion occurs, creating a mushroom cloud in the desert. I'm not sure if I can last even a few days. In fact, in the case of the Mad Lord's puppets, they can be quickly neutralized by severing their circuits with the formless sword. However, I refrained from rashly doing so, wary of arousing further interest from the Mad Lord. Even if he isn't interested, if he gets enraged about his creation being damaged and starts chasing me personally, that alone is a terrifying prospect. Buzz, buzz, buzz. I dodge the puppet's attacks, flying over the heaven-treading desert day and night for 3 days. The puppets are indeed troublesome. They don't tire, although I have some confidence in my stamina. It's not enough right now. It hasn't been long since I underwent complete transformation. I didn't have time to train, nor have I reached the chi building stage to fortify my endurance. I grit my teeth. I hope the Mad Lord leaves as soon as possible. And then 7 more days pass. Boom. The number of Mad Lord's puppets chasing me has doubled. I grit my teeth even harder. The Mad Lord is still pursuing me, even past the original time he'd ascend. Damn, this won't work. I need a way to completely shake him off. Flash. Before I knew it, I had left the heaven-treading desert, past small tribes beneath the desert, and finally arrived at the Black Wind Sea. And then I begin to see puppets in the shape of fish chasing me from the sea. Right, I feel sorry for Song Jin, but I think to myself as I face the wind of the Black Wind Sea. I need to borrow the nether crossing ship for a while. If it's the Mad Lord, Song Jin will understand given the circumstances, right? I fly towards the sea area where the nether crossing ship is hidden. Just like that, another 3 days pass. Boom! Dodging the bombardment from the swarm of puppets behind me, I twist my body and force my way through with the formless sword, heading towards the location where the nether crossing ship is sealed. Just then, the puppets that have been silently chasing me for days suddenly echo the Mad Lord's voice. Unfortunately, in 20 days, the Ascension Gate will completely close. It's about time for me to pursue other matters, so I shall leave. Finally, it seems the Mad Lord is giving up on me and preparing for ascension. But his next words are beyond my imagination. However, she said your story is too touching and she really wants you to join us. Therefore, suddenly far away, the sky is tearing open. She and I have decided to work together to capture you. We will definitely invite you. Click, and what appears through the crack is a white human-like finger. Just a finger. Kuwang. As the finger moves, the sea splits, and the earth seems to flip upside down. The clouds in the sky split, and the winds of the sea stills. What is this? She is wanting for you. Come here at once. I realize the identity of that finger. The Mad Lord's her. Zap zap. The main energy source of the nether crossing ship, implanted inside a puppet, the Mad Lord's greatest creation. Whir. Starting with her finger, a slender white hand gradually crosses over through the crack. Shiver. This is madness, this won't do. From that one hand, from just the palm, am I feeling the same pressure as I did from Song Jin. I realize now, the Mad Lord's is no ordinary heavenly being puppet. Even though I am just a beginner in the core formation realm with limited insight. Even with my ignorance, the intuition developed over 900 years of life is not to be underestimated. She is probably a 4-axis puppet. The prowess of the Mad Lord sends chills down my spine. Can this monster, from whose palm I feel the same pressure as Song Jin, be anything but a 4-axis puppet? I made up my mind. Fleeing this insane genius for up to 20 days. Impossible. Boom. Through the spatial rift, not just her slender hand, but hordes of puppets begin to cross over. Before I know it, the sky over the sea is filled with the Mad Lord's puppets, creating an illusion that the spatial rift is pouring them out. I grit my teeth. I made a mistake. I shouldn't have told the Mad Lord and her my story, trying to gain their sympathy. What should I do now? I ponder for a moment, then open my eyes. This life will probably be the shortest. I imagine being captured by the Mad Lord, trapped in a body unable to die or decay for thousands of years, turned into a living puppet. Even with an extraordinary mental state, I can't bear such madness. I should commit suicide. The thought of abandoning this precious life is excruciating, but the conversation with Yuan Li helped me solidify my understanding of life. Life is not a blessing in itself. It becomes a blessing when hearts are given and received within it. Following this belief, since I haven't formed significant connections or shared hearts with anyone yet, I can forsake this life. I steel my resolve. I will die. Dying is far simpler than figuring out how to live. There are countless ways to die immediately. It's when I am about to blow up my head to end this cycle. Wait. I suddenly remember the colorless glass sword sleeping in my inner core. What happens to this colorless glass sword if I die now? Will it follow me in regression even if I die again, since it recognized me as its owner? Or since it didn't connect with the white red wine in this timeline, will it just remain and disappear here if I die? Jolt. A worst-case scenario flashes through my mind. That can never happen. Suicide is easy. But I can't just kill myself right now. I need to consume white red wine first. Yes, at least I should drink white red wine before dying. I frantically dodge the puppet's attacks and fly towards the nether crossing ship as originally planned. Kagagagugu. Her slender hand only reveals up to the wrist, occasionally launching immense ranged attacks at me. Since the hand doesn't have eyes, its accuracy is incredibly low. Of course, the just aftermath is nearly lethal. Damn it. I grip my teeth and enter the sea area where the nether crossing ship is sealed. I see the barrier of the nether crossing ship. Woven. Using the formless sword wrapped around my body, I break through the barrier and charge towards the nether crossing ship. And then, boom, I finally land on the deck of the nether crossing ship and quickly move to the control room. I haven't touched the helm of the nether crossing ship for a long time, but I remember it clearly. Nether crossing ship start. Rumble. Following my will, the nether crossing ship begins to rise into the sky. I must go to serving command palace. Just when I am clenching my teeth. This bastard. Kagagugu. From below the nether crossing ship, a familiar face appears. It's Songjin. How dare this thief? What are you planning to do with the nether crossing ship? Without saying much, I sail the nether crossing ship into the sky and reply. The Mad Lord is chasing me, Senior. While fleeing and dodging him, I ended up coming here. I beg for your understanding. What? Hearing the name Mad Lord, Songjin's eyes blaze furiously. And then, boom. Finally, Mad Lord's puppets break through the barriers of the ceiling area of the nether crossing ship and reach us. QQ Quang. Countless puppets of the Mad Lord swarm in. Seeing them, Songjin's eyes flare with blue fury. This Mad Lord, bastard, how dare you come here again? Haven't you stolen enough from the nether crossing ship? His voice is laced with mixed wrath. Songjin looks as if he would devour the Mad Lord on the spot, descending to the deck of the nether crossing ship to confront the puppets. And when countless puppets try to board the nether crossing ship, swoosh! Dark ghostly mist surrounds the nether crossing ship, and it enters the void. Phew! I sigh and speak. I apologize, Senior, as I mentioned. Enough, you're being chased by the Mad Lord, aren't you? Yes, yes. His eyes blaze with blue fury. As insane as the Mad Lord is, he wouldn't abandon Ascension to chase you in this period when the Ascension gate is open. Just hold on a bit longer. Then, just then, on one side of the void, a spatial rift connected to the mortal realm opens. A familiar slender hand emerges from it. Seeing this, Songjin shouts, "This damn thing, why didn't you say she is chasing you too?" Damn it, it's all over. If Mad Lord brought out even that puppet to capture you, then you're done for. I can't help you anymore. The situation is serious enough for even Songjin to say so. As expected, I asked Songjin while looking at him. Senior, perhaps suicide is the right choice. Oh, what an ingenious method. If you die, your soul will be sealed in the nether crossing ship to pay for sailing it without permission, so be aware of that. Regardless of Songjin's growling, I grab the helm of the nether crossing ship. I already know the coordinates of serving command palace at this time. Then, if I'm going to commit suicide, I might as well use the nether crossing ship a bit more before I do. What? Flash. I glance at the dazzling, space-distorting slender hand in the distance and move the nether crossing ship. Flash. The nether crossing ship enters the space in the mortal realm, and from there, I direct it towards the coordinates of serving command palace. What a tumultuous time in such a short duration. I click my tongue, seeing serving command palace floating in the void in front of me. I weave pure spiritual force and create the barrier-breaking scroll. When I finish creating the scroll, again a space rift connected to the mortal realm opens, and her slender hand stretches out. Boom! After annihilating the prohibition, I enter the interior of serving command palace. The floor with white red wine. I frantically ascend to the upper floors of serving command palace, searching for the immortal wine. I found it. Quang quang. Using the formless sword, I cut all the main circuits inside the barrier and furiously hammer it. And then, crackle, one side of serving command palace begins to crumble. Shiver. What appears as the wall of serving command palace crumbles is her slender hand, which has already emerged up to the wrists. I feel a chill from the explosive force emanating from her slender hand. Quickly. Snap. She spreads her hand. And then, quang, my formless sword finally breaks the barrier. I already know which jar contains white red wine. Pub. I hastily open the lid of the white red wine and gulp it down directly from the jar. Whir. Once again, the Dharma treasures placed inside my body buzz, deepening their connection with me. Certainly, I distinctly feel the connection between my soul and the Dharma treasures. It's then, whir, a tremendous gravitational force is felt from her hand. It feels like I am being directly sucked in. Indeed, my body is being drawn towards her hand. Resistance is impossible. Damn, no, this won't do. I need another method. Rumble. In the distance, Song Jinho holds the helm of the Nether crossing ship and crosses into the mortal realm. I clench my teeth and take the starting form. In the life before last, I followed Kim Young-hoon's footsteps, discovering treading heaven beyond the path. And in my last life, I finally killed Yuan Li, fully reaching treading heaven beyond the path. Certainly, I have entered a different path than Kim Young-hoon. That's why, instead of his space-transcending, surpassing radiant saber, my formless sword evolved to cut only what I want. But I am certain my formless sword cut through space that one time. For a moment, it became Kim Young-hoon's surpassing radiant saber. That means, perhaps, can those who have reached treading heaven beyond the path mimic others treading heaven beyond the path? Think it through. Find a way in your mind. Whir. I ignite the upper dantian with Gang Chi, awakening it. The flow starts from my Beihui point, heading towards the Yin Tang point, igniting the upper dantian with Gang Chi. You will. I recall that sensation. The formless sword originates from severing mountain swordsmanship, and the surpassing radiant saber from severing vein saber method. And the root of both martial arts are actually one. Then, tracing back the formless sword, is it truly impossible to temporarily reach the space-cutting surpassing radiant saber? Of course, it's impossible to completely obtain the surpassing radiant saber. However, if it's just mimicking the ability for a brief moment. Flash. Simultaneously with my focused diligence, she suddenly looms before my eyes, her hand gripping something. I, with all my strength in the empty void, slash down with what is held in my hand. Swoosh. The formless sword, for an instant, shines with a brilliant golden radiance. At the same time, flash, I escape the void and reach the mortal realm. Wowung. Far off, Song Jin, who had just escaped the void like me, is seen grasping the helm of the Nether crossing ship. Thump. I fly towards the Nether crossing ship and catch my breath. What is this? Didn't you say you were going to commit suicide? If you're going to kill yourself, do it after getting off the Nether crossing ship. Song Jin shouts, seemingly afraid of her pursuing us again. Gasping for air, I suddenly become curious about something. Perhaps, do you know any techniques that can attach a ghost to the depths of the soul? I do know something like that. Can you perform it on me? Why should I do that for you? Damn it. I forgot that to Song Jin, I am a stranger who briefly hijacked his Nether crossing ship. Just then, Wowung. A spatial rift tears open, and her slender jade hand emerges once again. This time, as if determined not to let go, her arm extends up to the elbow. Damn it, get off the Nether crossing ship now. Hurry. All right, fine, I'll perform that spell for you. Wowung. Song Jin takes out a ghost from the Nether crossing ship and injects it directly into my upper dantian. Kyoa. With an unpleasant foreign sensation, I feel the ghost's soul attached to me, guided by Song Jin's power. For a moment, the ghost and I are connected. Get off now. And as if obeying Song Jin's command, the ghost, now linked with my soul, forcibly controls my body and makes me jump off the Nether crossing ship. Kagagugu. Her hand reaches out towards me, and at the very last moment, I concentrate the energy of the formless sword towards my head. Boom. That is my 12th return. / */ Discord https://dsc.gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord. Chapter 133, 12 Cycles First Day. Translating Novice. Zing. I woke up with a slight headache. Apparently, the shock of blowing up my head was great. And that too. I realized this is the first time I had directly committed suicide. Better to choose death than suffer a fate worse than death. Feelings of sadness, anger, regret, and guilt for having wasted a life wash over me. In addition, I shouldn't approach the Mad Lord carelessly. The thought sends shivers down my spine. Just what is that old monster? I shake my head, dispelling these thoughts. More importantly, jolt. Once again, I begin to feel a tearing pain around my abdomen. Pain like being gutted with a knife. But I smile. Once again, it has been transmitted. The effects of the white red wine worked. And if the connection to my soul has also been transmitted, it's when I focus my consciousness. Zing! The headache, which has been present earlier, intensifies as I concentrate. What's this? It hurts. It's like my soul is being engorged with a knife. Is it not just the lingering pain of blowing up my head with the formless sword? The headache continues, boring into my mind as I focus on it. Something is off. The size of my consciousness isn't the issue. The 5 elements blood curse banner is still in place, sealing my consciousness. It isn't the same headache I had before my head exploded. This pain is like when flesh is torn away, yes. I finally realize what is wrong. My soul has been torn away. Not much, but torn nonetheless. Like a slight peeling of skin on the body. But definitely a sensation of being torn, and the area of the soul that was torn is clear. It's exactly where the ghost connected with my soul. Indeed, the ghost was torn away along with the part of my soul it was connected to and disappeared. Which means, Dharma treasures can return with me, but if a sentient being tries to travel through time with me, it gets torn away. From the looks of the wound on my soul, rather than being deliberately ripped or cut by someone, it seems as if it had been caught on something rough and torn away while trying to pass through. Inanimate objects connected to me are somewhat allowed, but sentient beings are a problem. I smile bitterly. If it had been revealed that the ghost had also returned, perhaps the souls of my companions, and even Hyanghua's soul might be. No, it's fine. I erase my random thoughts. After all, each life is unique, so I should cherish it all the more. Yes, that's all I need to do. Just when I am organizing my thoughts. Well, I slightly tilt my head, dodging the hand aimed at my cheek. Why, you dodged it? Thinking about it, I forgot that I usually put my colleagues to sleep with a sleep spell, being preoccupied with verifying the experiment of the Dharma treasure and the ghost. This bastard, do you even realize what you just did? Somehow it's a very welcome voice. This voice, hasn't it been quite a long time since I last heard it? He seems to be fussily bouncing around and saying something to me, but I just smirk and pat him on the shoulder. Getting too angry isn't good for your mental health. Calm down. What? Listening to this guy, who's in his early 30s, swear after being chased by madmen over 900 years old like Yuan Li, or over 1600 years old like the Mad Lord, somehow. It's quite cute. It feels like a 3-year-old toddling in front of me. Honestly, even if I had been slapped just now, I wouldn't have felt too bad. What else does this guy know to do besides hitting me on the cheek and cursing cutely? He's not going to catch and turn me into a puppet, nor suddenly massacre people around him to consume them. Co Yunhyan you $dollar and $. All right, take a deep breath. I pat the guy's shoulder as he tries to punch me frantically and eventually collapses from exhaustion without landing a single blow. Kim Young-hoon, Chief O, Deputy Kang Min-hee, Deputy Oh Hai-seo, and Team Leader Kim Yeon look at me with worried eyes. Leaving behind the panting Jian Myung-hoon, I look at my colleagues for the first time in a while. It's been a really long time since I've seen them. They're still chattering about finding the SUV or figuring out where we are, unaware that this world is different. Suddenly, I feel an unusual sensation looking at them. Then, for the first time in a long time, I speak to them. I'll go climb the tree and check if there's a road or a car nearby. Deputy CO, can you climb the tree? Yes, just wait a moment. Tad it. With my hands behind my back, I climb the tree using only my legs, finally controlling my vital force chi and muscle movements to the extreme without relying on internal energy. Then I quickly climb to the top of the tree, observe the landscape in the direction of the ascension gate, and come down to them. There's nothing around. No, how did you just do that? Chief O looked at me with a stunned expression. After all, I had just casually climbed up and down a tree, several meters high with my hands clasped behind my back. I vaguely answer, well, I don't know. Ever since I opened my eyes here, I've just felt somehow lighter. Huh. Once again, my colleagues split into two groups. Deputy Oh Haiseo and team leader Kim Yong go to the cave with me, while Deputy Kang Min-hee, Section Chief Jeon Myung-hoon, Kim Young-hoon, and Chief Oh Hyun-seok go out to find the SUV. Oh, a cave. That's right. They settle in the cave, observing inside. I gather branches with them to make a windbreak and a bonfire. This time, I don't need Kim Young-hoon's lighter. Chica. When I rub a suitable branch against the surface of a slightly dry tree, fire ignites on the tree's surface. It's a martial arts technique of momentarily tightening muscles to create extreme acceleration. I transfer the fire to the kindling, and then swing the branch again to extinguish the fire on the tree's surface. How did you do that? Deputy Oh Haiseo asks me with wide eyes. Again, I vaguely reply. It just worked. Later, I gather fruits from nearby trees and roast them with the two, waiting for the other colleagues. As evening comes, the other colleagues return, and I share the fruits with them. Jeon Myung-hoon initially refused to eat what I offered, but after I persistently persuaded him, he ate the fruit while cursing. We chat late into the night. It's been a very long time. It's been almost 400 years since I last had such a relaxed conversation with them. In my past lives, I was entangled in hunting the fox in private meetings with the Mad Lord right from the start, so I couldn't properly converse with these people. The lives before that were almost 400 to 500 years ago, so I felt a very new sensation now. Of course. Deputy CEO, is your smartphone still not getting a signal? No data either, really, where are we? Data, what was that again? I vaguely remember smartphones. They seem to be something like a transmission device. But details like data are a bit hazy in my memory. It's something I used 900 years ago, and I haven't heard of it in a few hundred years, so it's a bit confusing. I'll have to ask Kim Young-hoon about modern artifacts or memories from the company later. As my consciousness expands, my memory improves, but still, it's been 900 years. It's been a long time since I met my modern colleagues, so some things have become faint. Deputy CEO, the GPS is dead too and the air is suspiciously clean. Are we really in Korea? That's what I'm saying. I find it hard to understand their conversation and difficult to join in. But still, it feels good to chat with my colleagues after such a long time. Whoosh. As all my colleagues fall asleep, I head outside to where a yellow bamboo root is. I missed the time to eat the yellow bamboo root before because I didn't put my colleagues to sleep right away. Crunch, crunch. I ate the ginseng and underwent complete transformation. As my consciousness domain properly settles, it completely fills the surroundings without needing to be sealed with the 5 elements blood curse banner. The consciousness domain of a core formation. It's as vast as the fox demons. Phew. I feel the internal energy flowing in my danshin and then get up from my spot. I don't bother to form an inner core. An inner core can be formed anytime, and more importantly, wowing. I float a gang sphere into the air. The gang sphere begins to split. With an inner core, creating and splitting a gang sphere becomes much easier, which is why I used to bother forming one. My body is already skilled in using gang spheres for over 500 years. Now, even without an inner core, it's possible to create and split a gang sphere. Wowing. 9 gang spheres line up in the air. Swoosh. The 9 gang spheres melt and combine with my domain of consciousness to form the formless sword. I grab the formless sword and concentrate my mind. Even though I didn't become one with the formless sword after creating the inner core, the true value of treading heaven beyond the path is to fully draw out the real power of beyond the path to heaven. In other words, if I had handled it before. Wowing. It's possible to handle it now. P-it. The formless sword transforms. More transparent and ethereal. There's no visible difference, but swoosh. When I swing the formless sword, the surface of a nearby tree remains intact, but the inside is cut cleanly. Indeed, I can reproduce the realm of treading heaven beyond the path to some extent. Of course, implementing treading heaven beyond the path with just the formless sword without an inner core is much more mentally draining and troublesome. But anyhow, it's feasible. It's when I am contemplating the realm of treading heaven beyond the path. Boom. A familiar creature appears. It's the fox. How dare you, when the master of the forest is perfectly healthy? It seems to have woken up and come here after sensing my consciousness domain, which has reached core formation. Without waiting for it to speak, I immediately swing the formless sword. Swoosh! My formless sword permeates through the fox's skin and flesh and reaches where its demon core resides. Then it spreads in all directions, touching the major organs of the fox. At this moment, if I want to, I can extract its demon core and organs, leaving only the skin intact. If I quietly extract the demon core, even the Mad Lord won't notice. The eyes of the fox are filled with fear. Shiver. I calmly watch it tremble for a while. And then, shortly after, swoosh, I withdraw the formless sword from its body. The fox, realizing the overwhelming difference between us, shuts its mouth, stares at me with trembling eyes. I'll spare your life. Thank you very much. Hand over your demon core. I felt a sudden impulse to help this demon fox a little. That. Do you prefer handing over a split demon core, or prefer handing over a perfectly fine demon core? Lasagna. As I pressure the fox with the formless sword, it groans and eventually spits out a pure white orb from its mouth. Woven. As I catch the white orb, the fox's body gradually shrinks. Eventually, it turns back into a normal fox with only 3 tails. Yak. In a state of lost intelligence, the fox looks at me in a daze. Upon seeing its demon core in my hand, it shows a covetous look. Woven. I catch the back of the fox's neck with my formless sword and drag it in front of me. The fox yelps and cries out in fear. Be quiet, stay by my side for a few days. After smacking the fox's head, I bring it with me into the cave. The next day, my company colleagues, especially the female staff, are astonished to see the 3-tailed fox that appeared in the cave. What is this? A mutation. More importantly, it's cute. Kim Young-hoon and Chief Oh Hyun-seok's eyes widen at the sight of the 3-tailed fox, and even Jeon Myung-hoon's eyes bulge. What is this? It's a monster. They gather and talk about the fox. Then, a 2-headed red snake appears again. It's also been a while since I've seen this guy. Who man SSS? A peculiar scent is coming off you. Slither. Your blood. Then the snake looks into my eyes as it is speaking. As I reveal my domain of consciousness and emit killing intent, the snake shuts its mouth. Well, if you go that way, there's a tree with delicious fruits. You will enjoy the view of the ridge. The snake glances at me and then quickly turns and flees. The company colleagues are shocked to see the talking 2-headed snake. They fearfully discuss that this place is not a normal world. I watch them for a while, waiting for the heavenly beings to arrive in a few days. A few days later. Rumble. Familiar faces arrive. Grand Elder Hyogwak of Black Ghost Valley, Sect Master Jin Byako of Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder Sect, and founder of Azure Heaven Creation, Sect Azure Tiger, Saint Chingmun Sunwoo. The 3 heavenly beings descend from the sky and select their disciples. This time, since I haven't formed an inner core and am suppressing my core formation level consciousness with the 5 elements blood curse banner and hidden consciousness technique, I am of no interest to them. After Jin Byako roughly tests the qualities, everyone loses interest at the mention of 5 elements spiritual roots. Had they inspected more closely, they might have discovered the 5 elements blood curse banner. Once they confirmed the presence of 5 elements spiritual roots, they seemed to lose interest altogether. The one who showed some interest was Azure Tiger Saint. You have a core formation Demon Beast's Demon Core. That's right. Perhaps. Azure Tiger Saint speaks to me. Could you deliver that demon core to the Chingmun clan in Byokra? It might be helpful to my descendants. Woven. Azure Tiger Saint stamps a recommendation for the Chingmun clan on the back of my hand. If you deliver it, use this recommendation to become an external member of the Chingmun clan. How about it? Tusk, why are you trying to persuade him? He's just a mere chi-refining kid. If it were me, I would have just snatched it. Jin Byako grunts as he looks at Azure Tiger Saint, who is trying to persuade me, and then tosses Jeon Myung-hoon into his own storage artifact. Azure Tiger Saint clicks his tongue. Why snatch something from a young junior? Besides, for us, having that demon core is just a bonus. HMPH, we're leaving first. Black Ghost Valley and Golden Divine Heavenly Thunder sect leaves before Azure Tiger Saint, who then pats my shoulder. Follow us. Other heavenly beings will come too, so if you want to leave Ascension Path, you can ask them. I can't tamper with space right now as I'm raising the power of the blue sky armor. Still, it's an auspicious time as it's the period for Ascension. If you ask, the other heavenly being cultivators will surely listen. After saying this, he flies off, following Jin Bayako and Hyo Guak. I watch Azure Tiger Saint fly away. The next day, Kurung Kurarung. Seo Atrial appears. Muttering whatever to himself, Seo Atrial again flies away, holding Deputy O in his arms. This time, I chose not to speak to him or even look at him. I'm sorry, Deputy O Hiseo. It's already determined. There's an attraction of fate, and every time I try to defy it, it only hastens the outcome. In this life, I have no intention of trying hard to pass my colleagues onto better heavenly beings. After all, with my current power, I can't change anything. Taking action unnecessarily might only bring more confusing results without changing anything. I'm sorry, everyone. I watch pained as Deputy Oh Hiseo also leaves us, leaving Kim Yeon and Kim Young-hoon distraught. Then, in the evening, Kim Yeon awakens her consciousness and the Mad Lord appears. Shiver. Seeing the familiar face of the Mad Lord sends a chill through my body, but I manage not to show it and carefully hide my intent and heart essence. The Mad Lord declares he will take Kim Yeon as his disciple and then lifts me and Kim Young-hoon, throwing us into a spatial rift. Using sword control, I also pull the yelping fox, grab it by the neck, and fall through the spatial rift into the void. Beyond the spatial rift, as Kim Young-hoon and I are about to disappear, she desperately reaches out to us. Seeing the color of Kim Yeon's intent, I finally understand what Kim Young-hoon was talking about in Chinsik City. Gasp, gasp. I open my eyes beyond the void, suddenly feeling breathless. This place. Formless sword. Boom. Queuing. Cough. I gasp for air. Mad Lord, this lunatic. I gasp for air, looking at where I emerged. I appeared underground. Randomly teleporting, does that include underground? It's fortunate that I have the formless sword in this situation. Wait. I hurriedly expand my consciousness domain to find Kim Young-hoon. Kim Young-hoon and the fox are also trapped underground. I dig through the ground with the formless sword, rescuing them both and looking around. Familiar characters and language. This place is. A person just popped out from the earth. What's that? He's wearing strange clothes. It's the bustling area of Yangyuo. I approach one of the people surrounding me and ask, "Is this Yangyuo's?" Never mind. I recall from my memory where this place is. Yangyuo's Lianshan City. The city where I first landed in my very first life. It's also been a long time since I've been here. Carrying the unconscious Kim Young-hoon and the fox, I quickly move away from people's sight using my movement technique. Then I swiftly clear nearby bandit groups and collect money. In a flash, I arrange an identity badge and a residence for Kim Young-hoon. While Kim Young-hoon is still asleep, I quickly proceed with the tasks. I hire a caretaker and a scholar to teach him additional language, writing, and culture. And then I leave in Kim Young-hoon's mind all the essential martial art techniques. In addition, the martial principles to reach 5 energies converging to the origin, ultimate pinnacle, path beyond the heavens, and treading heaven beyond the path. Then I throw the demon core I have been keeping to the fox. Gulp. The fox swallows the demon core, and again reveals its gigantic form inside the residence. It looks at me, its eyes trembling. If you had stayed in Ascension Path during the opening of the Ascension Gate, your demon core would have been extracted. Thank you, Senior. I have a request. Yes, please give me your command. Protect this human in exchange for sparing you. I point at Kim Young-hoon. The fox immediately lays flat and nods its head like mad. Yes, yes. It'll return someday, so don't indulge in cannibalism. I understand, I will remember. Good. After a moment's glance at Kim Young-hoon, I set off to complete the remaining tasks in this life. I confirmed what I need to do. Now reaching a realm comparable to Nascent Soul, and having achieved treading heaven beyond the path. What's left is finish my tasks and return to ascension path. Since the days I practiced martial arts and dreamed of becoming a cultivator, a goal set a long time ago. Now that I possess at least the minimum force, it's time. I gaze up at the sky. I'm going to investigate the ascension gate. It's something that has to be done at some point. I could get caught in a spatial storm and possibly die. But even so, it's a goal I have planned since a very long time ago. Now it's time to investigate it at least once. I'm sorry, everyone. I couldn't protect any of my colleagues. So in this life, I will dedicate myself to finding a way back home. I quickly soar through the void. Translator notes, haha, the snake demon was talking slowly on purpose the entire time. Donated chapter by Deflubs, thanks for the support. // Discord https://dsc gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord. Chapter 134, Beihui 1. Translating novice. After distancing myself from Kim Young-hoon, I first begin to form the inner core in a nearby mountain. The inner core is formed. I gather the energy from all over my body to the Beihui point, located at the top of my head. Beihui, meaning 100 meetings, is called so because it is where 100 meridians converge. It is also the most crucial part of the body that connects with the spiritual energy of heaven and earth. As energy gathers at the Beihui, I can feel the inner core melting into it. The melted inner core disperses into the meridians of my body, connecting with the formless sword in my grasp. The formless sword permeates my entire body, flowing through my meridians. With my eyes closed, I gather the formless sword at the Beihui and integrate it at my upper dantian. Fully embodying the formless sword, I become the sword itself. I can feel the power to draw out strength from each and every cell through the formless sword. Conversely, I can also use my flesh and blood to draw out the power of the formless sword to its extreme. And that extreme of the formless sword is precisely Piet. When I swing my sword, I can feel the heaven and earth spiritual energy of the surrounding mountain veins being cut off in an instant. The power to cut what I desire. Did Yuan Li call it planes? I wasn't sure exactly what he meant by planes, but as my formless sword is honed to the extreme, I vaguely feel something. It's a vague sense of crossing, something similar to a dimension. I realize that my imitation of the surpassing radiant saber to cut through space might have been possible because both the formless sword and the surpassing radiant saber's abilities are related to dimensions. Well, I'll have to keep using the formless sword in the treading heaven realm to confirm. I resume my thoughts as I propel myself from my spot. Whoosh! As I became one with the formless sword, I flew much faster than the flying escape technique. It's time to take care of the tasks I need to do. In Yangguo, there are things to be done. The first is, I need to see their faces. I've never missed a visit in any cycle. This cycle will be no exception. I swiftly fly to the Jin clan. They are asleep. I look over the sleeping children in the quarters who were receiving training. I'm sorry. I speak to my former disciples, looking around at them. Living has taught me that sometimes people must plunge into things they know might kill them. This is an apology to those children. In my short-sightedness and obstinacy, I forced my will upon you all without knowing that. Of course, I had my reasons back then. Assassination attempts that were certain to lead to death. Cultivation techniques that exploit the grievances of relatives, inflating hatred beyond measure. Seeing their intent, watching them love each other, rejoice, and even find happiness in their hatred, I wished they could live. But that was the position of the powerless. If I wanted them to live, I should have risked my life and assassinated the emperor in advance. There are many excuses, but one thing I have to say is clear. I couldn't do anything for you then, but now I will use my power for you. Live well. Leaving the quarters, I bow to the building, as once their master. A bow is not only a sign of respect, but also a gesture of gratitude. I am thankful to those children who are a part of my fate. I head to the Jin clan's soul storage warehouse. Numerous crystal orbs are stored there. I swing my formless sword. Shiku. My formless sword cuts the cultivation technique that links the crystal orbs and the souls. The technique is severed, and the souls begin to emerge from their orbs, slowly dissipating. I speak to them. Your children, those who survived, will live peacefully for the rest of their lives in the Jin clan. They will be happy for generations. May you find peace in the afterlife. Ayla, Ayla. The souls tremble for a while upon hearing my voice, then ascend to the heavens. After a while, as the soul storage warehouse is about to set off an alarm, I cut that technique as well and left the Jin clan unhurriedly. Now in Yangyo, the only thing left to do is Mackley clan. Those traitors who betrayed the alliance in my past life need to be purged. I can't think of a single reason for you to remain in this world. Whoosh! I fly towards the Mackley clan's main house, which I had learned of as a decisive member of the alliance. The Mackley clan's main house is a place very familiar to me. The capital of Yangyo, Seokyeong City. Whoosh! Tearing through the air, I arrive above Seokyeong City. Then, after observing below for a moment, I plunge straight towards the center of Seokyeong City. Boom! My body, like the formless sword, pierces through the center of Seokyeong City and heads underground. Kyuguaguagua. After drilling through the ground for a while, I finally come across a vast, empty cavity. Kagagugugu. The underground den, likely under spatial compression by the Mackley clan, is immensely vast inside. So big that a small mountain range was fit inside. Rumble. And above that mountain range, there stands a huge palace, from which a heavy scent of decay and a thick devilish energy emanates. I've heard before that this place was not originally the Mackley clan's main stronghold. It was the headquarters of the Devil Path Alliance. The Mackley clan had been living there as tenants in a small land under that very palace. But now, with the entire alliance ascending to the higher realms, the Mackley clan had taken over the empty cave. Whoosh! I fly towards the main house of the Mackley clan, cutting through the air. The ceiling of the cavity is lit by incredible glowing stones, making it as bright as day. Thus I arrived at the palace. 2 chi-building cultivators of the Mackley clan block the palace entrance and approach me. Greetings, Senior. Are you a core formation senior? They must have thought I used the flying escape technique seeing me fly without a magic artifact. Although it isn't a flight technique, their judgment isn't bad. Anyway, I am indeed their senior. However, there are 3 things I need to correct you on. First, I am not at core formation. Oh, so you must be a Taoist who has mastered a unique method. Second, I'm neither your Taoist nor your senior. Sensing something off from my stern tone, the gatekeeper's expressions start to harden. Third, I don't wish to receive any greetings from you, so keep them to yourself. They ask with stern faces, "What brings you here?" I've come to make a few demands. If you comply, I will leave. I begin listing my demands to them. 1. Stop sacrificing innocent lives for elixir making. 2. Abandon your dirty foundations in Yangyo and leave for somewhere else. 3. Hold a ritual for those you've killed for your elixirs. With each point I make, their faces turn red and then pale. If you comply with these terms, I will spare your clan. What do you say? You insane. The 2 early chi-building cultivators, faces red with anger, reach out towards me. Die, you madman. Whoosh! A strong force, accompanied by the smell of corpses, tries to push me back. I just snort and swing my hand. Buang Kuang. With my gesture, one of them is split in half along with the palace door behind him. The remaining early chi-building cultivator, seeing my might, steps back with his mouth agape. Core formation cultivator. He turns pale and flees in haste. But, after he takes 5 steps, he falls to the ground, split into 3 pieces. Ignoring them, I walk through the split doors. Step. Inside the dark palace. Once the main headquarters of the Devil Path Alliance, I feel the gaze of hundreds. 8 powerful auras press down on me. Kagagugugu, the head of the Mackley clan, Mackley Hwangshin, and the 7 core formation elders. How dare this madman attack the Mackley clan? Just as the heavenly being seniors are ascending, he's running wild. Such disrespect. One of the elders growl at me. Judging by the power in his meridians, he's at best core formation. No, he doesn't even seem to have a core, maybe chi building. Is he out of his mind causing a ruckus here? You won't be able to leave here in one piece. Let's see how the elixir made from your boiled body will turn out. A pack of dogs barking loudly. And the leader of the wild dogs, Mackley Hwangshin, sits quietly on his throne just watching me. I smirk. You're all barking like dogs, but everyone is tense, right? Since if I am not really crazy, then I must have something to be confident in to have invaded like this. I don't have the power of a core formation cultivator, just a strong force flowing through my meridians like chi-building cultivators. It wouldn't be strange for them to mistake me for a chi-building cultivator. However, the power I have achieved is completely different from cultivation methods. Since it's noisy, all of you come at me at once. It'll show them the power I've attained in treading heaven. Kagagugugu. I begin to draw out the power of the formless sword, now completely one with myself. The head of the Mackley clan, Mackley Hwangshan, stands up from his seat. At the same time, the 7 elders of the Mackley clan also rise from their positions. 350 chi, building elders of the Mackley clan, also stand up. Kagagugu. Round Mackley Hwangshan, a tornado surges upwards. Daring to challenge the Mackley clan, you madmen, I'll show you the power of the Mackley clan. Seo Yunhyan and the Mackley clan collide. Quang quang quang. Hundreds of Mackley clan cultivators against the Seoul Seo Yunhyan clash. And then, Mackley Hwangshan, along with the elders, and all the members of the council look around with wide eyes. They unleashed their full power on the unidentified intruder. But instead, they were the ones who were thrown out of the palace. What is this? Just then, step. Outside the palace, Seo Yunhyan walks out. My demands once again are simple. 1. Stop making human elixirs. 2. Leave Yangyuo. 3. Hold a sacred ritual for the deceased used in the elixirs. He looks around with a chilling gaze. This is my last mercy and demand. You'd better accept it. Mackley Hwangshan frowns and shouts. A cultivator who has mastered strange techniques. Everyone, brace yourselves. Who? Seo Yunhyan sighs. I have shown mercy even to you. Don't blame me. And then he begins to use his power. Kagagugu. The formless sword is a kind of gang sphere. And the gang sphere and inner core, apart from one being connected to life, are essentially the same. From such a concept, Kim Young-hoon's external inner core was created. A method of connecting his life force to the external path beyond the heavens gang sphere, enhancing it. Now ascending to the treading heaven realm, along with the inner core inside the body, the path beyond the heavens that has fully merged with the body is also considered an external inner core. In fact, it's much more efficient than an external inner core. Not an artificially created gang chi meridian, but truly connected to life. Therefore, the formless sword of Seo Yunhyan, who has reached treading heaven, beyond the path is completely different in enhancement compared to the path beyond the heavens. Seo Yunhyan swings his hand. Something connected to his hand swung. Quang. Mackley Hwangshan manages to hastily dodge with a dreadful premonition, and the heaven and earth spiritual energy at his position is cut off. Aseg. It's dangerous. Mackley Hwangshan grits his teeth and forms a seal. Corpse River. Kagagugu. A green river smelling of rotting corpses pour out from the palace, covering Seo Yunhyan. Along with other core formation cultivators, they also begin to form their spells. Dragon and demon ghost summoning yin. Wind summoning devil dragon transformation. Yin water gathering fire. Although there are slight differences in attributes, generally yin-based spells strike Seo Yunhyan. Seo Yunhyan only swings his hand in response. Wallach. Bang bang bang. Their spells explode at once by something transparent swung in a crescent moon shape. Seo Yunhyan swings his hand again. A bizarre darkness. Around him, an invisible storm begins to rage. Colorless trajectories swirl, growing larger. Quagigagaga. The palace of the Mackley clan closest to him is the first to be cut by the force of the trajectories. And the colorless whirlwind grows, covering the entire Mackley clan. Block it. Damn it. Several core formation elders attempt to block the colorless trajectory with their dharma treasures, but the treasures crumble, unable to pierce through the colorless storm. Landscape painting. Kagagugu. The raging storm suddenly transforms, altering the trajectory. Flash. In the next moment, colorless trajectories whirl in all directions, slashing through the entire cavity. Mountains are split, and cracks form throughout the den. Mackley Hwangshan's expression hardens. Non-nascent soul cultivator. At the very least, this is clearly not a core formation cultivator. Until the end, Mackley H. Wangchen ponders Seo Yunhaian's trajectory. It's definitely beyond core formation, but to call it nascent soul, isn't it too weak? However, his decision is swift. Even if it's not nascent soul, at the very least it's an equivalent force. I've misjudged. Everyone listen. This man is a nascent soul old monster. A nascent soul old monster who hid from the heavenly being seniors, now attacking the Mackley clan. His words continue. However, this place is the stronghold of the Mackley clan, and where the Devil Path Alliance once stood. As the successors of the Devil Path Alliance's spirit, we will never yield to a nascent soul old monster. Mackley H. Wangchen ponders. The power is definitely beyond core formation, but it's too weak for nascent soul, just like that person in the desert. But compared to the hidden power of the desert cultivator, his attacks are simple and weak. This guy. Greed flickers in the eyes of Mackley H. Wangchen. If we mobilize the entire power of the Mackley clan, we can capture him. He smirks. The Jiangshi made from a nascent soul cultivator's corpse, just thinking about its power makes my heart race. Capturing the nascent soul old monster, the Mackley clan will leap to greatness once again. Upon his declaration, the elders solemnly draw out all their Dharma treasures. The Chi-building elders also simultaneously start forming hand seals in unison. Unleash an all-out attack, block the nascent soul old monster. Rumble. Numerous spells, Dharma treasures, and magic artifacts fly towards Seo Yunhaian. Boom! Yin energy explodes, and spells formed of devilish energy assault Seo Yunhaian. The Chi-building elders pull out wartime weapons from the clan's arsenal and activate them against Seo Yunhaian. Siege weapons fly towards him, and numerous devilish fire and Jiangshi legions swarm him like a tide. Numerous formation barriers in the Mackley clan's palace activates, restricting Seo Yunhaian's power. Against all that, Seo Yunhaian swings his sword. Ayah! We're being sucked in. Block it, block it. Severing mountain swordsmanship, layered mountains. Kuguaguagua. Colorless trajectory extends in all directions, filling the entire space. Dozens of Chi-building cultivators are split apart, and several parts of core formation elders' bodies are torn off. The colorless trajectory, spreading in all directions, writhed like tentacles. Severing mountain swordsmanship, Mountain Echoes Valley responds. Ting! The writhing trajectory turns into a wave, echoing throughout the entire cavity, causing everyone except Seo Yunhaian inside to vomit blood at once. Severing mountain swordsmanship, Flowing Ridge. Kagagugu. The colorless trajectory twists and sweeps away the gathered Chi-building cultivators and 3 core formation elders. Kagagugu. And then, the aura of Seo Yunhaian, integrated with the formless sword, begins to grow even stronger. Block it, block it. Set up the formation. The nascent soul old monster is using his power. Stop the old monster. Alia. Severing mountain swordsmanship, Chi mountain heart heaven. He, clad in colorless trajectory, steps forward step by step. Like a mountain lord soaring over the mountains. The movement technique of the mountain lord's soaring flight, tailored to Seo Yunhaian and fused with the formless sword, becomes a fierce weapon in itself. A giant colorless tiger leaps. Led by 8 core formation cultivators, hundreds of Chi-building cultivators are swept away by the flight of the Lord. By time, the formation is almost complete. Mackley H. Wangchen clenches his teeth and shouts. This is the Mackley clan's stronghold, and the main base of the Devil Path Alliance that they have inherited. The formations spread here are by no means simple. And finally, form the seal. Yin Spirit. Devilish Fire. 3 core formation cultivators, and 150 Chi-building cultivators. Each group thus composed forms different seals. In the center, Mackley H. Wangchen and the Mackley Grand Elder simultaneously form hand seals, completing the formation. Yin Spirit Devilish Fire Ghost Formation, activate. Simultaneously. Rumble. From the Mackley clan's palace, black devilish fire surges, engulfing Seo Yunhaian. The yin energy emitted from the devilish fire forms a barrier, and from the barrier, numerous ghostly wails erupt, creating symbols that complete the barrier. 8 core formation cultivators from all 8 directions simultaneously form seals. Seal. Kagagugu. Shortly after, a dark green barrier seals the rampaging Seo Yunhaian. Struggling within the devilish fire, his consciousness will be gradually suppressed, and he will be refined into a jiangshi ha ha ha. Mackley Hwangchen bursts into laughter. Look, everyone, the Mackley clan has successfully captured and is refining a nascent soul old monster. He clenches his fists and looks around at the elders. Everyone, contact our territories through the communication division. We need more pure blood. Using more pure blood to refine the jiangshi, we can truly. Just then, crash. Mackley Hwangchen's face stiffens as he turns to the loud noise behind him. There he sees the barrier cracked all over. What? Crack. Once again, a loud noise echoes. Crack. Simultaneously. Pugwag. From inside the flaming barrier, Seo Yunhyan's hand bursts through. Q-duck-duck. Seo Yunhyan's hand slowly tears apart the barrier. The colorless trajectory in his hand causes the barrier to crumble, widening the cracks. And then, Pugwag. His other hand also bursts through the barrier, and he begins widening the breach with both hands. Within the devilish fire, Seo Yunhyan's eyes blaze like ghostly fire. Not a bad attempt, but you made one mistake. Whoosh! Seo Yunhyan emerges from the devilish fire with a pale smile. You shouldn't have boasted after sealing me. You should have run away. How can this be? A mid-stage nascent soul cultivation should be required to break such a barrier. Mackley Hwangchen loses his composure and shouts. Seo Yunhyan's eyes explode with brilliance. I may be weaker than the typical nascent soul, but I have a bit of an edge in specialized areas. Early, mid, late, those don't mean much in front of me. Finally, Seo Yunhyan, fully emerged from the devilish fire, raises one hand. You should have accepted my mercy when it was offered. Those still not fleeing have courageously chosen to enter the gate of death, correct? Kagagagugu. Colorless trajectories boil over his entire body. From now on, I will end the Mackley clan. The next moment, his pupils seethe pure white. Severing mountain swordsmanship. Ultimate technique. Severing mountain. Kagagagugu. A colorless storm fills the cavity so densely that no one could find a foothold. The mountain range where the palace stood is split into thousands of pieces. The Mackley clan's palace is torn apart, turning into dust. Phew. And thus, the Mackley clan, one of the twin pillars of Yongyuo and rulers of the imperial family for hundreds of years, disappeared into the annals of history that very day. Translator notes, Cold donated chapter by Deflubs Mono and Joe Mama. Thanks for the support. / ********. Discord https://dsc gg/wetread. Link to donations in the Discord.